figure out what was down.
You name it.
They kept talking about San Francisco.
It was all across the U.S. in spots, and it was wild. Hold on a second. I'll be right back.
I wonder what time that was, because I was on from 2 o'clock Eastern, which would be 1 o'clock Central, on a conference call till for about a half hour, and we had actually we did have a few issues right at the beginning.
Well, they said it was stuff like CNN couldn't come through, but then they just kept talking about San Francisco. So I don't know if it was a local San Francisco problem or if it was nationwide.
It was all across the U.S. Amazon, a lot of different the Washington D.C. They had a lot of internet downage. There was some here actually in OKC earlier today, and they had it pretty much all around the world that the internet went out, and it was all due to one company that kind of works through.
How that San Francisco company could affect everything, but maybe it was a DNS problem.
It could have been.
Hey, Mark, about what time was that?
Sometime between 9 and 1.
Oh, okay. That's probably why I might only caught the tail end of it.
Yeah.
Our time 9 to 1. Is that Oklahoma time?
Our time here, local time, yeah, sometime between 9 and 1. It went down, and it was down for about, they said, for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then it came back. But we seem to still be showing some small problems with that.
Because I never saw a problem where I was. I mean, from my office.
Think how much money that saved people.
Do what, Ken?
So just think how much money that saved people.
Yeah.
They couldn't order. That Ken with his, yeah, that's Ken with his fan running over there.
Yeah, it is. That's his air conditioning
Yeah,
for the garage.
Garage, yeah.
Yeah.
My air conditioner actually works, but the fan's more than enough tonight.
Yeah.
Rather pleasant, actually.
Night off, Ken?
Pardon?
Did you get the night off?
Yeah, I have the evening off.
Hey,
I went in at 6 this morning, so I was off at 3.
Oh, wow.
But I'm about to scale back a little bit, which is good. We've had a couple of guys have been out on vacation, so we'll officially be doing part-time, maybe 4 days a week. So
I assume working all the time, you didn't have time to build that 432 antenna.
I haven't had time to do anything.
Yeah,
But
I can understand that.
still agonizing over a 9700 though.
Yeah.
I look at the 705 and think, well, it's a couple $100 less, but
The one that Mark Klein's looking at, it's a Icon 9700? Is that what he's looking at?
yeah, 9700.
I looked at that and it looks pretty nice. And there is a way to hook up a 10 megahertz external GPS to sync with the internal oscillator and make it very stable.
It allegedly they fixed the problem with that. I guess it didn't work right in the early ones.
I don't know, but I watched a few videos on it, and
Yeah, I mean, that's
a guy in Australia that does moon bounce, he could not get it to be stable enough, so somebody in Australia built a circuit, and that's not the one. That's not the norm. I think this guy's just a onesie twosie type thing, and to cure the problem. And he demonstrated how stable it was after that fix, and it was very stable within, 2 or 3 hertz, being on frequency and not drifting. That would be nice.
So it looks like it's a doable machine in any case. So probably what I'm going to do, I actually thought I might have had it ordered by now, but I'm still dragging my feet a little bit.
Yeah. Well, you
Good
got
evening, guys.
to do what's right for you,
Oh, yeah.
Eric.
Oh, Eric.
Hey, guys. Thought I'd pop in and say hi.
You live in Seminole, Eric?
Not anymore. I actually moved, a couple months back. I still kind of have a place there. I've got some radio gear there and still have an antenna up and whatnot. But I'm living actually in Norman now. So got a job and got sick of driving
Yeah.
from Seminole to Norman every day, but
It's a
twice a
pretty good
day.
drive.
So, yeah, twice a day.
Yeah.
So I found a place in Norman to rent. So yeah, right now that's what I'm doing. But yeah, I go there a lot of times on the weekends. I'll be out there. I'm still trying to get antennas and stuff down and get everything moved. But for the most part, I've got kind of a shack in the box set up here at the house that works pretty okay. So at the new place in Norman. But yeah,
Yeah, it takes a while to get
so that's the
everything
story to it.
set up.
Yeah, still working on that. I was thinking about restringing that 10-meter dipole up this evening, but it's so damn hot. I decided not to.
Yeah.
It's not hot yet.
Oh, no. But up on the roof, it's got to be plus 10, 15 degrees.
Oh man, it's getting hot here in Indy, so yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine. And it actually today wasn't bad. Today was like 70. It was freaking beautiful.
Well,
But
Yeah, that's
it has been. We have had some 80, 85-degree days here already.
yeah. Well, I've been spoiled. I spent the last 20 years in Southwest Colorado, so
oh yeah. I can understand that low humidity.
yeah, no humidity and oh man, yeah. So, but it's okay
Well,
because I went to
I
school
thought the
in
roofs
Austin.
would be cooler there since the hail knocked all the asphalt and gravel off of them.
You're probably right, actually.
So what part of Colorado was you in, Eric?
I was living in Durango, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Beautiful area.
yeah. Yeah, I had a place there I was there for, like I said, 20 years. And then the whole COVID thing hit and
No jobs.
things went crazy. Decided to pick up and move and had some friends living in Seminole that I knew from Durango. And I said, well, they said, hey, we've got an extra room. Come stay with us. I said, okay. So that's how I landed here in Oklahoma. It's pretty random, but it seems to be working out okay now.
How long you been here?
Since, I got here beginning of November, not very long.
Well, when July gets here, you'll be ready to move back.
No, I actually grew up in West Central Texas and went to school in Austin. So I'm used to this hot and humid stuff. But I should say, hold on. I should say I'm getting used to it again.
Yeah. Takes a while.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's slowly coming along. I'm getting everything. 10-meter inverted V up soon and have some low SWRs and I can get on the band and see if I can make some more contacts.
Well, if you need to test, let me know. Contact me on Discord or something. And
yeah, I'm definitely on there. I've been seeing you guys go back and forth on there. So yeah, I'll ping you on Discord or something one day.
I've got a 5-element mono bander on 10. I can point at you.
Well, I would sure you could hear me. We'll see though. But yeah, other than that, it's kind of been culture shock moving from Southwest Colorado to Oklahoma. But I guess now with the I guess it's not that big of a shock now, with the medical marijuana industry here. I mean, that's been going on for Colorado. And hell, I mean, it's there now. You just literally walk into the store and buy it like you can a can of beer. So it's weird.
They have all the signs up. That's what irritates me the most about it. You can't drive down the interstate or down a street. You just covered up in marijuana signs.
No, I know. I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, this is crazy. I feel like dollar stores and dispensaries.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of wonder how so many of them can stay in business.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Especially since you're supposed to be an Oklahoma resident to do it. I think
Right.
a lot of Californians and Coloradans suddenly became Oklahoma residents somehow here for a year.
Well, yeah.
Even though they just showed up.
Well, when you consider the cost of real estate in California and Oklahoma compared to Oklahoma, or
Yeah.
California and Colorado compared to Oklahoma,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
financially, it makes sense.
Yeah, well, I'm in real estate and I just saw a listing where somebody had I want to say it's like 7 or 8 acres out by Lake Eufaula that you couldn't have given away. It might have brought $150,000 a couple of years ago, but it had a metal building on it, like a 40 by 60. I don't even think it was that big. And now it's a grow, so it's worth $2 million.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I know, it's absolutely crazy.
But the irony is, right there in the listing, it says out-of-state owners. And I would have swore that law said we're supposed to be Oklahomans to do that.
Well, you have to be here 6 months to be a resident.
Sure.
Yeah, well, what
That's
they're
right.
doing is they're hiring people from Oklahoma to put their name on the card.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're skirting the laws left and right.
Yeah, my friends that actually moved to Seminole moved for that very reason. Bought some land outside of Seminole and started a grow operation. It's exactly what they were doing in Colorado. And they basically sold their house and their property in Colorado, and now they're grow operation alone. So
Yeah.
they're but that's not my thing. I'd rather be in technology. So it was like, I gotta get out of here and get back into the technology sector and back into the ham radio world. So that's what I did.
Ken,
Yeah.
that's quite a dish there behind you.
Yeah, I wanted to show that to Mark. He's got a big 10-foot dish that he's planning on using EME
I
on.
see it.
So I wanted to show him my dish that I built about 10 or 15 years ago.
He can see it. He just has to look at it with one eye. He's kind of driving along. So he has to glance at you.
What frequency is it for?
That's for 2.1 gig. And,
Wow.
and that feed horn on there, Mark, is a coffee can with a quarter wave stub in it.
It's kind of cute.
I thought maybe the flying saucers had landed.
So that reflector is a sled, snow sled.
Is it really?
Yep.
Yeah, I've got a few miles on one like that. Mine was red though.
That's great. That's great. I would have guessed that if I would have seen like the handles built into it.
Again, I'm coming down Kickapoo at I-40. How far away are you from that?
Well, are you going west?
South on Kickapoo, and then I'll go east on 40. Or
You're
west
going,
on.
you're going west on 40?
Correct.
Get off at Highway 102. That's where the gambling casino is. And take the first right. You get off, you exit to the right, and then you turn left to go over I-40, then take the next right and go about a half a mile, and you'll see my antennas.
Can I see them from I-40?
Say again?
Can I see the antennas from I-40?
You can see my 630 meter vertical, but you have to know where to look.
I'll keep my eyes peeled.
Right? You want to stop by?
Oh, I need to get home. I should, but I need to get home.
Okay. Well, after you pass Highway 102, start looking to your left, and you might be able to see my antennas. There's so many leaves on the trees now, it's hard to see them.
He's in that low spot.
Yeah. Not copying you now, Mark.
Well, like I said earlier, well, we also got a solar problem too that's causing a lot of signal interference.
Oh, it's your house?
No,
All
no,
over.
all over. 6 meter and 10 meter were dead today.
Well,
40 meter this afternoon, I tried it just for laughs and
yeah,
only showed half a dozen.
yeah.
20 meter, I couldn't keep up. I felt like I was in the middle of a field day or in a contest because
Yeah.
every time I was getting somebody, I had 3 more trying to get me.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing, Mark.
Yeah, 20 was just covered up today.
Yeah. The other bands, the upper bands were dead, so everybody went to 20.
They were all on 20. I told Mark earlier when we started this evening. Yesterday I was on 20 and it was just about as busy, but I started noticing I was picking up contacts in the southeast pretty good. I mean, just like somebody flipped on a light switch. And I got Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Trinidad, and Brazil back to back to back to back.
On 20?
Yeah. I mean, it was just all of a sudden it opened.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah. Today,
Yeah.
today the Northwest was hopping. Anything on the West Coast, anything in the Northwest.
Yeah.
Even got 2 of them up here in Canada, right up around Washington State, and right into British Columbia.
How many countries you got now, Mark?
I'd have to look it up. Quite a few. I tried 2 of them today. I tried, I don't know, half an hour to get both of these guys. One was in Russia, right near the Chinese border. And the other one was in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And I tried to get both those to no avail. Couldn't get them.
Well, you need an antenna you need a dipole or a Yagi that's pointing at them.
Well, Mark suggested it probably, that's one, or Mark or Ken, one of them said that if I'd had a beam, I'd have probably picked them up.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
But I
But
don't. All I've got's an in-fed
Yeah.
HF antenna. So,
and you don't really know what direction it's propagating the best direction, do you?
Sometimes it's super to the east, sometimes it's super to the west. I mean, it's kind of odd. And today I was getting so many of the West Coast contacts. I seen those 2 and I thought, well, I'm going to give it a shot. And I had my wattage turned up, but no luck.
If you
Is that
have
on
a,
FT8, Mark?
Huh?
Is that on FT8 or voice?
FT8.
if you pick a band that you want to try to work DXCC on, build a mono antenna for it, mono band antenna, and put it broadside to Europe, which is also broadside to Australia and New Zealand and all those islands in the Pacific. You'll do much better with just even a dipole. that's cut for single band.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to do the lower bands, like 40 on down, 40, 80, 160, you need a vertical for that because that's how you get the low angle of radiation is with a vertical, but not necessary. You don't necessarily need a vertical on the higher frequencies. Like 17 meters was wide open a day or two ago. I was copying Africa and all over Europe with it.
On FT8?
Yeah,
Wow.
17 is a good band. Have you ever been on 17?
No, never tried it.
I posted some of the stations that I copied on Discord the other day. And I was talking to George. W3JDG was on there.
Well,
Oh.
I wasn't doing any good. Get like I said, that Russian and New Zealand didn't have any. And then I seen one earlier today on 20 in Japan, and I tried him once or twice. And
Yeah.
I didn't get him either. So
You got to remember you're in competition with on 20 meters. You're in competition with people with tri-band Yagis and 500-600 watts.
yeah,
Well, I don't know if they may not be running that much power on 20 on FT8, but some of them are.
oh yeah, you can tell some are. But for what I got right now, and I'm gonna move my end fed up and put it up a little higher
Mhm.
and see if that helps. And we'll see. For right now, that's the best I can do. Mount it up a little higher than what it is now. Lendl, I saw that post you made of that little toy you picked up.
Yeah. I'm excited about that.
I bet you were.
What'd you buy, Lendl?
That's another 7100. Like I posted on there, I've been debating on whether to put the one I got in a go box or mount it in the car. Right now it's riding on my desk on top of a little Samlex.
So you have a matching pair, huh?
Yeah. But I've always wanted to do the go box thing, but when I'm doing the siren net and stuff like that and doing emergency stuff, I kept thinking I need one in the car, and I just got to figure out the antenna set. That's what I'm actually working on, getting rid of some of my excess stuff so I can focus on the antennas for that. I've got a good portable antenna to use for the go box, but I need to get some stuff to mount on the car.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping Sam would be here tonight. He seems to have a pretty good setup with his.
He'll probably come in after a while if he's not on a trip somewhere.
He's getting ready to do some traveling, I think.
Yeah, Ken, I need to get with you so I can finish the fine details on that spider mask. Get that in the air and try it out, and then put together cut the wires and stuff for the off center fed dipole to hang on it.
When things start looking better.
We're getting better weather.
Schedule wise, I get a couple of days off next week.
Really?
I'm not going to make Saturday meeting, unfortunately, but I can make Tuesday.
Elmer 9.
Or night. So
Yeah. If any of you haven't heard, Saturday's a live meeting at the fire station for our first monthly club meeting back together. And next Tuesday night will be our very first live Elmer night back at the fire station. We are going to do Zoom on both of them. For those that just can't drive down the street and around the corner and join us.
It's not exactly local.
Right. That's what I kind of figured I was thinking of you when I said that.
Oh, you can make it, Don. Just start now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I have to show up at work so they pay me just so I can afford my internet.
Details. Where's your priorities, brother?
But yeah, we are looking forward to that. The man with the plan, Mr. Mark's going to set up the Zoom with the Saturday meeting as well as the Tuesday night, so everybody gets a feel like they're there to some degree. That it will be good to be having people back together on the Elmer night. Ken, you know what happens there, don't you? DNL.
But
All that antenna stuff just grows.
I know it. Yeah.
You get a bunch of guys and gals sometimes together in that Elmer night, and all of a sudden there's antennas flying all over the place.
It's a fun project.
You betcha.
What opportunities do we have with that tower? I mean, the tower's not loaded at the moment, or nothing on it, is there?
As far as I know, I don't think so.
It'd be nice to have. It'd be nice to have a cable and a pulley, so we could just on a Tuesday night string something up and play with it.
Yeah. I probably have to get with Mark on that.
Yeah, that's gonna be an option.
Did you hear him, Ken?
I heard him talk, but I couldn't understand.
He said that's going to be an option,
Okay.
but he'll have to do the coordinating with the fire station to allow us to do that.
I finished building the 432 20 element Yagi. I've got it completed. I posted a picture of it on Discord, and I have a picture of it on qrz.com. It's man, that sucker is long.
How heavy is it?
Oh, it's pretty light, but it took me quite a while to, I was doing the aluminum to aluminum brazing to braze the elements onto the boom. And even with my acetylene brazing torch, it took a while to get that boom hot enough to melt that aluminum. So it took me a while to get 20 elements on there. But it looks good, and I could probably get the SWR a little better. It's down to 1.4 right now. But I don't have it up in the air yet.
Well, it doesn't work very well until you get it up there.
Yeah, I know it. I've got the 10 element one up in the air, and I can rotate it. I'm copying this one satellite. It's a linear satellite, and I can hear CW and sideband QSOs both whenever that bird comes over. And let's see, I think I posted that on Discord. That is AS44 is the name of the satellite, Alpha Sierra 44, and the frequency is 435.6. And if you'll get there, I use a program called Orbitron to track the satellites. It's a free download, so if anybody's interested, that will tell you when the birds are coming over your house.
Orbitron?
Orbitron, yeah.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, and it's an old program, but still works good.
So what satellite were you hearing?
AO44.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, AS-44,
AF-44. I'm not sure what that one is.
Alpha Sierra.
Oh. I'm not sure what that one is.
What program do you use to track the satellite that you work
I
with?
was using a government tracking program. It was an old government tracking program I had looked up. It's something NASA uses to keep up with the different satellites floating around the ISS up there. So I was using it, and it's pretty good. It shows the globe, shows the Earth, and does it in 3D, so it shows the angle in which they're coming, shows shows the pitch, shows the change, and then it shows the ISS and it flashes,
Yeah.
so you know that's what you're seeing there. And then
Why
so you
don't
can
you, why don't you post a URL on Discord
okay,
tomorrow or sometime whenever you
I'll do that.
have time? I might take a look at it. It might be better than what I'm using. I don't know, but I
Well,
like it. like
I
it
just went.
over time.
Well, NASA they suggested that when you were trying to keep up with the ISS.
Yeah, well, this program I've got, it's got a whole list, and you can put a check mark by the ones you want to watch, and
Mhm.
the ISS is one of them. But I don't have it checked because I'm not trying to work the International Space Station, and they don't have a beacon on it.
No, but they
So,
do have a repeater, and it works good.
yeah, I've worked through it years ago. So,
By the way, on 6 meter at 5313,
yeah,
there was today, I noticed a tone about every 2 minutes or so for about, 8 or 9 seconds. And then it'd go off. And then it was a solid tone for 8 or 9 seconds. And then it'd go off. And it was about every 2 minutes. But there shouldn't be a beacon or anything on the FT8 though.
no, it could have been someone just working on their antenna or tuning up or testing or something.
Well, it was pretty consistent in time.
Mm-hmm. Well, next time you see something like that, post it on Discord and maybe somebody else can look for it.
Yeah, because I couldn't figure out what that was. It didn't post up as anybody on FT8, so
Yeah.
Ken, did I tell you I got the Yagi 2 meter 440?
No.
Horizontal Yagi 2 meter 440. It's 8 elements. It's three of them for 2 meter, 5 of them for 40 meter.
That's perfect for satellite work, isn't it?
Well, it's going to be on a pole, part of my tower back behind the house.
Well,
that I'm going to use for 2 meter sideband.
Whenever you get it up in the air, we'll test the 440 part of it on FT8.
Okay.
I can point my 432. I've been transmitting on 432.125.
Okay.
FT8 or whatever. From 432 to 432.1 is moon bounce, EME stuff. And 432.1 is the call frequency. And I was transmitting on that, but I decided to move up off the call frequency. So now I am on 432.125. And that's in the weak signal digital mode section.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Once I get that mounted, I'll try that with you.
Yeah. I don't think we'll have a problem. We're not too far apart.
No. At least as the crows fly.
Yeah. Oh, I could probably do it with this. Here, I got an antenna. Here's a ground plane vertical antenna for 432 megahertz.
I got one of those, a 2 meter 440 up right now. Looks something like that.
Really? Well,
Yeah, that's
it's
my
made
ground
out of
plane.
a-
That's my ground plane. That'll be on the top of my pole. It's up now. It's just
See.
not high enough.
That's a SO239 with ground
Yeah.
radials soldered
Yeah,
on
yeah, that's what I got.
it.
Looks just like it.
Yeah,
I use it for all the repeaters around here. I can hit 9 repeaters with it.
yeah. What kind of feed line are you using with it?
Just the just the what do you call it? The 8, the RG8.
RG8?
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, and it works good for that. So I could hit you at the fourth when you do that 432, just using that ground plane.
Yeah. Yeah, we wouldn't have any trouble working with that.
Yeah,
And
I could just I'll screw that on my 991 and go to FT8 and see if I
Yeah.
can hit you on that.
Oh, no problem. You know, they could copy me in Norman. And remember, I lowered the power down to a watt or so, and it was still copying me.
Wow.
Hey, Ken,
Yeah, yeah, I can.
are you broadcasting on 432 right now?
I can. All I gotta do is hit this button. Okay, I'm transmitting. My antenna's pointed toward Norman, and I'm transmitting FT8 at 432.125.
The upper sideband or lower?
It's all data modes are upper sideband.
Okay,
Yeah, Mike, he's using doing it in the digital.
yeah, I've got a receiver on, but I don't have a transmitter.
Okay. Let me know if you hear me, Mike.
I'm not seeing anything.
Are you in Norman?
No, he's just
I'm right on the other side, towards you, closer to you than Mark is.
Okay.
Almost
Well,
on 89th Street, basically.
I'm gonna rotate my antenna a little bit more
Yeah, straight west ought to get me.
because I was pointing down toward Norman. Looking not quite straight. Do you think you're straight west of me?
Straight down Southeast 89th Street.
Okay. 89th Street is
89th, about 89th and 240.
yeah. Well, this street that's south of me about half a block, it's called 45th Street in Shawnee, and that's the same as 89th Street in Oklahoma City.
Yeah. So we're just almost right on that same east-west line.
Yeah, and I'm transmitting now, and I should be almost shooting right at you. About 265 degrees, something like that, a little bit south of west.
I see you.
Oh, can you decode me, or
Yeah, I got you.
you're decoding it? Oh,
Are you talking to N5UNY
yeah, I got somebody else's call signing.
or UWY?
Huh?
You're talking to UWY,
Yeah, but he's not there. I was just calling him.
but I'm decoding that.
Okay, I changed it to a CQ. Or I could put your call sign in there. I'll do that.
So is there, there you are. If my system was going to send you back a report, it would be -15.
Yeah.
Is that pretty good?
Yeah, not too bad. I see Peter Law is on there, but he has no picture, no video, no audio.
Incognito.
Turn that rig on,
Please,
Peter, and see if your new interface works.
and see
Well,
if,
the audio's goofed up on it, and I haven't diagnosed what exactly is goofed up on it. And I'm fighting with my computer currently. So,
Don't let it win.
well,
Shouldn't have stuck your finger in it.
Okay, Mike, you copying? I'm sending your call sign now.
Yeah, I can, it went red.
I'm only running about 4 or 5 watts.
That's pretty good considering my antenna
What-
is a mag mount sitting on the file cabinet in the shack.
Is it a 2-meter mag mount or?
Yeah, it's a 2-meter mag mount.
Yeah, that's not bad then, I guess.
Not for receiving, no.
Well, that tells you if a 2-meter mag mount will copy my signal, then Mark, you should have no problem copying me with that little 432
Ground plane?
vertical.
Yeah. No, I won't.
He could probably do it with a piece of wire.
Basically, that's what I got. I got a 2-meter 440 ground plane out on the roof, so I should be able to do that.
Okay, we'll go back to CQing. Might get a big DX station here.
Yeah, there's my setup behind me, Ken.
Yeah,
I know you can't read it, but that's my FTH. What do you call that at the bottom? Waterfall.
waterfall. Yeah, I can't read it because it's
Yeah.
overexposed, from bright screen.
Too much brightness.
Yeah.
And then I got my
No.
I got a grid tracker program. I've been doing a little research.
Good.
You hear it? Wanted grid. It says wanted call, wanted grid.
That's what Mark Clayton uses, isn't it?
That's,
I use the WSJT and a X and grid tracker at the dual monitor. Yep.
That's because you went back to calling CQ, so it thinks you're a new call,
Yeah,
or at least it knows I haven't worked you.
yeah. That's pretty neat.
Wanted call.
Eric come by the other day and we tried to make this a 3-monitor setup in here and couldn't quite pull that off.
Yeah, you need another video card, I guess.
Well, he did that.
Yeah, we did. I did that, and I could get both display ports working on the video card I installed. But what happens is when you install that secondary GPU, it's disabling the onboard video.
You can't go into the BIOS and change that?
No, there wasn't an option in the BIOS to enable it. It just like automatically disables it. So
That's crazy.
yeah.
So see, that's why I built
Normally,
mine for years.
Normally the BIOS will allow you to have them both running. So my thought was, as I was literally driving away from Mark Clayton's house, was, I should have flashed the BIOS to the latest version, and then I bet we could have done it.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, but we can still do that, Mark. I'll come by another day after work sometime, maybe this week if you're
might
around.
do some research on that, Eric, before you flash it, because to make sure that will fix it.
Yeah, I've actually got the service tag, so I've got to do some research and see if I can see what it's capable of. But in theory, it should work. So I just didn't really have enough time, and
Yeah.
I hadn't eaten dinner, and it was like 8:30, and I was starving. So
I can't navigate unless I have food.
that's the way.
You need to get a release of liability on that project.
Hey, everybody.
Howdy,
Hey,
howdy.
David.
Hey, how's this coming through? I got Starlink out here.
Seems to be working well, man.
Yeah.
Just finally got it on the beta, so I have internet again. Yay.
Nice.
Yay.
What are you using for a camera?
Huh? This is just my
What are you
iPhone.
using? That's looking good.
Yeah, no, we bugged out over here, so yeah, there you go. Hopefully antenna's up in about a month.
So where are you at, David?
Middle of nowhere, Arkansas.
All right.
Popular place.
Yep, basically the nearest town's about 20 miles away at 500, and then the nearest Starbucks is 100 miles from here. So
That'll save you some money.
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey,
it's
Lyndall,
requiring adjustment. I've had to rebuy everything because everything I had out here just isn't up to the grade you need out here.
We're in
Lyndall, did you?
Arkansas.
Lyndall,
You know where Paragold is?
Yep.
Go
I
out in the
do.
middle. Go out in the middle of Crowley's Ridge.
I know exactly where you're heading.
Yep. Go up into Crowley's Ridge. In between the two flatlands, and you'll find me.
Yeah, you're right. There's nothing out there.
Yep. This is my in-laws have a ranch up here, and we bought some land adjacent to theirs. And City of Norman gave me a buyout on my property due to all the homeless stuff there, so I took it and ran. So, yep.
Yeah.
So I understand they've completely ripped that area of town up. They're like that whole area right there. So, hey, whatever, they're turning it into some big park.
Hey, Lyndall,
Yes, sir.
did you get that second radio yet, or get it unboxed or installed, or?
I went through the box to make sure everything's there. And it never has been installed. The CD for the second manual is missing, but I sent them a message. Of course, they don't know anything. They're just going through their dad's stuff.
Yeah.
And, I told them if they any more ham radio stuff, let me know.
You just come by and relieve them of it?
Actually, they delivered. They were supposed to meet me this morning. Something happened. I would go across 10, and so they ended up driving it out to Yukon for me.
Wow.
Hey, what's the talk group to get back into the repeater out there on DMR?
There's what's 3140 and
314016.
314-1016.
Correct.
All right, hang on here.
And Mike, I'm thinking about doing one of those. I've got this stuff to build a Go box. I just never have done it using an audio audio case, but it's just heavier. So I'm looking at that. I was trying to think of the name of it, where they put it in an ammo can and replicating that, and then the other one going in the car.
Whiskey, you're sounding good.
I gotta run somebody at the front door.
I heard me echo in there, but that's something. So at least I'm going on that side of it.
What did I do with my DMR radio? I know I brought it in.
I'm using this little Yaesu rig, and I've just got over here in the RV there. I've got a open spot sitting in the RV there.
David, your closest repeater is probably what, Memphis?
No, there's supposed to be one in Paragould, but I can't bring it up. That's.
I thought they shut that one down.
Well, Jonesboro is supposed to have DMR, but Jonesboro is 65 miles from here. And then Poplar Bluff is supposed to have one. So it'd either be Memphis or Poplar Bluff.
That's why I was thinking Memphis. They got two of them. It's on some pretty high towers over there.
Yeah, I can't hit anything with an HT out here. So it's going to, basically I've had for years sitting in storage up in one of the barns is I've got 200 feet of Roan, whatever. I don't know which one, just sitting there. I'm going to probably put that up, but I want to build a satellite station. I got to play with one about a month and a half ago, and I'm hooked on it. Oh man. Doing a single sideband on the satellites when you got one of those Yaesu rotors. Oh, wow, is that cool?
Hey, David, what bird are they talking through?
I'm not sure on it. Was several because they'd hop around because basically that Yaesu tracked it for about 15 minutes and you hop to another one, and it's like playing HF, except for you're on the satellites.
Yeah, I've done that before, but it's been years ago, and recently I'm trying to. None of the old satellites that I used to talk through are still working, but I did find one. It's called AS44, and that's the only one I can find. So if you can find out some satellites, it's linear satellites that do CW and sideband, that's what I'm interested in.
Give me a few months, and when I get the equipment here, I'll have it figured out. There.
Right.
Yeah, my first goal is I'm putting a 160-meter delta loop up here among these trees.
Yeah.
That's my before winter, and then my goal is to go VHF there, but I still got to buy the radio. I'm gonna buy that new ICOM SDR, not the 10-watt one, but the other, that UHF VHF one, the one replaced the 7100 or whatever that is.
The
I'm not-
FTX 10.
No, the ICOM.
Oh, the icon.
Is
Yeah,
that,
they've got one that matches the 7300, but it's a UHF VHF, Rick.
is that like the one Mark's looking at? Mark Klein?
It's the
9700.
ICOM 9700.
I see 9700.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's cool. Is you can take it either using ham radio deluxe or whatever, and it'll do the Doppler shift in real time on the frequency.
Yeah. I used to do that with a Kenwood TS2000. I had a program that it would do the Doppler. You didn't have to, and I had a tracking where it would automatically track the satellite. When that satellite came above the horizon, it would rotate to it, and then the TS2000 would take care of the Doppler, and I could talk till that bird went below the horizon with no problem. That was a blast.
Here's my problem. Here's my problem here is it's great for for the Delta loop, but those trees, the smallest tree is like 80 feet.
Yeah.
So I've got to basically put a tower up above that.
Yeah.
Is that a mobile ham station I see there?
Where?
When you show the
what?
driveway.
Oh yeah, that's my other toy. Yeah, actually it's got a 2 meter in there. It actually can hit a repeater, but yeah. Yep, right there.
I was
you gotta
talking about
have
the
those
bigger
around
one
here.
on the right.
Yeah. Oh, the
The
other
white
one, that
one.
one? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my other one. That one's got my ICOM, what the heck is in there? 706 is sitting in that thing.
That makes a real good ham shack right there.
That's
It
what
does.
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, field day is great. The little blue thing on the end makes field day nice.
All the comforts of home, anywhere you want it.
Pretty much. Until the brakes catch on fire. That's what it did to me in Branson last weekend.
Well, that'll make it interesting. Oh, I got a call coming in. I'll have to drop out for a minute.
Hey, David, question on your Starlink setup.
Yeah.
Do you notice a time gap or anything between when it switches to the different satellites to keep your internet going?
I haven't. No, actually, I've done Zoom calls and everything with it, no problem. Because basically, compared to what my options are, is LTE up here, and LTE is really, because the nearest tower is about 20 miles. So, dealing with that, blows that out of the water. But so far, my only complaint about that Starlink is it's horrible for satellite. I think that thing consumes 120 watts at idle. So, and it does not have a it's got this Cat 6 looking cable to it, but it's not removable.
Well, I'm just curious because I know it's switching satellite to satellite as it goes around the Earth.
Yeah, from what I understand is the one that's southeast United States, or where I'm at here that they're testing now, is almost straight over me. So,
oh, that's cool.
And they've got it, of course it's moving orbits, but they only got a couple birds because I'll lose internet here for about 15 minutes once in a while. As they're right now, it's like extreme alpha test, or somewhere between alpha and beta testing. It's not like it is in Montana now, to where it's pretty much like having a regular internet connection.
Well, they're working on it.
Oh, this is the game changer, man. That, yeah, I wouldn't have even thought of it out here, type of thing. But I just got into an opportunity to move, so why not?
Hey, my buddy out in rural Georgia has it, and I think it's full-blown production out there. And he says he has really low latency and no drops. So
my pings to Google range from 20 to 35 milliseconds.
That is really good. That is really good for low Earth orbit. So
and part of that is what I'm doing here is the shop I got back here. Let's see, my shop back here. I don't know if you can see it in that picture, but what I've got a 60 gigahertz ubiquity link going right here between the buildings.
Is it like a little nano beam?
It's like a new one. It's this UVB thing they got. That's actually
it's the new
work on unified glass.
Yeah.
So it works. I love it. It dropped right into my equipment and everything, and it works pretty good. I've had heavy rains with no fade.
Yeah. Do you run other Unify gear?
Yeah, I've got a whole Unify stack.
Okay, so you got like Cloud Key and all.
No, I run the virtual machine.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I got a full vSphere stack out here. I built my own. I got an external enclosure out here that I set up back in. But
you got a full blown lab out there.
Yeah, pretty much. Here,
nice.
Yeah, hang on here. You'd appreciate this. Do what?
Why David's walking out there, Eric, I sent you a couple of messages.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I got to hear one cool thing about out here is this shop is completely electric separated from the house.
Oh, cool. So you gonna make a battery backup?
I don't know what I'm gonna do yet with it, but the cool thing was that with him, anything happens, I should be safe from hitting the house. All right, here we go. All right, head back here. Yeah, welcome to Already Doing Gardening. All right. Yeah, here's the enclosure I built. All right, built out stuff. But yeah, here you go. There you go.
Nice. Yeah, you do. Like a little half rack.
There's a full. Yep, it's a little 12, basically 22U, and I got about. It's got 3 1U Dell servers in there, 64 terabyte FreeNAS box, and then the whole backbone of that is 10 gig.
How do you like over 20 apps. How do you like FreeNAS?
I've been running it for over a decade.
Yeah, I've been thinking about building out some old hardware I've got at the shop. We've just got a ton of old storage arrays, and I've been thinking about using it on that. Just as kind of like some static storage, kind of like Glacier.
Right. Is it SAS gear or what is it?
Yes, it actually is some older SAS gear, but there's a lot of it.
All you got to do there is get a couple of the IBM or whatever it is, flash them into IT mode, and your SAS trays will show up as JBODs, and then just make sure you do like a RAID Z2 with like 6 drives or something.
Testing.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out now. I'm interested because I've been looking at it for a minute and just haven't really had much time to throw anything together on the bench at work. So I'll give it a go and get something strung together, and it'd just be nice to have. Yeah.
If you want any tips, man, yell, because there's a couple mistakes if you make early on, you'll have to rebuild. And yeah,
okay, cool. I'll get a hold of you for sure. If you want to, in the chat, or maybe contact info, either email or phone or something. I don't know.
Yeah, on here. Let's see. K5D. Yeah, I'm not changing my phone number for a while, so kind of pointless anymore if you want the truth.
Yeah, I agree.
There you go.
Okay, cool.
My URZ is not updated yet. I don't want to get the ham station out, because if I get the ham station out, that ends all unpacking.
Cool. Well, yeah, I'll definitely hit you up, because I'm sure I'll have some questions starting from the ground up. So I'll let you know.
First thing is, make sure you go use one of your 1Us with at least 32 gigs of ECC RAM. And ECC is critical. It will run on non-ECC, but you'll pay for it in the long run. Because all you need is a couple bit flips, and you'll lose your pull.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think all the server gear I have has error correction in it, so it should be fine.
Yeah, I just run old Dell stuff, man, because you can pick it up so cheap out of Dallas that,
Yes. We've got just tons of like EOL old school generation HP servers that are full on.
Yeah, I've got like HP.
Full on. There's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah, if you go 7th gen or newer, they'll run anything you want.
Yeah, a lot of them are 7s, and even there's some 8s in there too. So
yeah, see what I do is I got that, and that backs in. I got a SAN 10 gig SAN dedicated SAN for iSCSI to my vSphere boxes or ESXi. Got vSphere on it, because if you pay the $200 a year, you get all the VMware stuff for that $200.
Yeah, but that doesn't give you vCenter, does it?
Yes, it does. 3 nodes.
It does? Really? Okay.
Yep.
Nice. I may have to look at that.
Yep. You get 3 nodes, unlimited CPU, unlimited RAM.
Nice. I'll definitely look at that, because I haven't even looked at what you can get like on that end of things. I've just been doing so much
Oh, something skipped. Hope it's not me. But hey, my rule on my lab is it has to make me money professionally. So it has to be either something I can make money directly on it, or B, it's a skill set that I can,
Exactly.
use or sell. And
Exactly.
that's why I don't run that's why I don't run KVM or anything like that, because those, I love that. That's great. But KVM doesn't make me money. Talking vSphere does. So
Totally. I know. I totally understand.
and here's the best part. You get to write all of it off.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. All your expenses you write
Yes,
off.
exactly. No, I'm right. I'm right there with you, my friend, for sure. Right on. Well, I'll definitely be in touch with you, David.
Yeah.
I'll turn it back over to maybe some ham radio related things.
Hey, I got ham stuff running on there. I got
There
my
you
project.
go.
I've got a project I started when I was out there that I'm going to have it up by winter there. It's a way to get on DMR with your cell phone, and
Nice.
like point and click. And I've got an extreme alpha now on running now. Actually got an app now to where it'll configure everything. So before it was all manual config, and I have a Docker image.
Nice. Nice.
Eric, I sent you a message back.
Okay, cool.
So yay, it's real.
Well, it's nice to see that the Starlink system actually works.
I'm nothing but impressed with it. As I said, I'm running this. This is going on the Wi-Fi point right there. I don't even know what just happened. Oop, yeah, that's going through Wi-Fi there over the microwave because I got all that stuff housed over there in the building. Because I want nothing that has antennas. Is the only antenna that's exposed is that microwave link right there on the house. So the shop has everything that has antennas or all that's going to go out there. And yeah, it would actually, because it has its own dedicated power from the electric company. So if it got struck, it'll take out a transformer or something before it hits the house.
Man,
that's kind of normal out here in the country. Most people do that. You just pay for a second power meter. It cost me $5 a month to have its own meter.
Probably well worth it.
Yeah, I decided I wanted to do that. And if I was ever going to do it, I was going to basically run a trencher and, run a trencher and then run fiber up here. But this works because even on the link there, it's still better than I was getting with Cox cable. Even in the house here, I'm getting better than Cox cable because, then if I got 3 to 4 megabit up on Cox at my house, that was a good day. And I get 20 to 30 with no problem, when it goes back and forth, but it's still better than what I had, which is kind of crazy.
I'm kind of curious how many people he's got on a single downlink feed and how many on an uplink feed, or if it's individual.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know that much about Starlink other than just the highlights. I've been so busy here because the other thing we're doing is trying to get this farm back because we're taking over operations of the family farm, my wife's family farm. So we're trying to get all that going, and I'm up at 5 a.m. every day. So, and still do my day job.
Wow.
Yeah, it'd be great to see what the back end networking looks like that on there, David.
I know they have downlinks, regional downlinks, because I think the downlink for this one somewhere in Mississippi.
Yeah, that would make sense, I guess. Yeah, there's some crazy engineering on the back end there for sure.
Oh, I just try to figure out how they coordinate that because
I know. Yeah. exactly.
And you could hear that thing. You could hear that thing moving. I mean, it's there. I've got whatever the second generation of it or whatever, and that thing's constantly moving. So I hope that holds up in the heat because that'll be the other. Well, if that guy in Georgia has it, then
yeah.
Because here it's not. It doesn't get near as hot as it does in Norman, but it's 100% humidity right now. So.
Right. I think that's about like he is in Georgia. And like I said, he's middle of nowhere. And he said it's hot and humid all the time there. And he's had zero problems. And he's running a business out of his house.
That's cool. Hey, by the way, this Ubiquity gear. Yeah, this Ubiquity gear. Would you believe that the radomes on these things are heated?
Are what?
The radomes, the dome covering the dish on those 60 gigahertz up there, those things are actually heated to keep the snow and ice off of them.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, I turned the lights off. It's got all these pretty lights you can do with them. I turned all that off, but I was reading that because a friend of mine told me that used to have a Wi-Fi ISP. He said those are nice and great until the weather hits, and then then you said you're going to hate life this winter. And I looked up on there, and the thing actually has it can keep that thing up to like 75, 80 degrees up to 20 below zero. So that's crazy.
Yeah, those are super nice. I didn't realize they were actually heated, and I take it that's via the PoE, right?
Yeah, I've got what I did was here in the house is I ran the wiring. I've got everything shielded Cat 6.
Nice.
And then I've got that 8-port, that Ubiquity 8-port sitting in a closet up here with access to the attic. And yeah, it's just, I've got that. The access points are running there. It's just running the I think it's the 48 volt PoE. And then on those, whatever the second standard is.
Yeah, all the newer stuff is 48. Yeah.
And yeah, it seems to run.
Nice.
Heck.
Yeah, that is like the ideal setup for that Ubiquity gear. That's exactly what it's meant to do.
Yeah. Now the hard part about that is if I ever lose sync, I got to unhook that stupid thing because I've already done it once. I was playing around with it, and I've got the firmware is frozen now because it lost sync, and you actually have to. It had to be plugged back into the physical network, which is 150 feet that way.
Right. That is a hell of a console cable.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I learned there. I just froze the updates on it. That thing will not update now. So
yeah, that's what I've done with everything that's in our controller. I mean, we have hundreds of sites in the controller that I've been managing, and I do not allow automatic updates by any means on anything.
Now, do you run the new controller or the old one? Because that new one's pretty, but I think it's worthless.
Yeah, we're running the old one.
Yeah.
We do have we have like the global enterprise setup where we can actually adopt all cloud keys that we're managing, and so we can see all of that in one interface, which is really nice. But it's the older interface.
Yeah, as I'm running the older interface too. Seems to work pretty good. So yay! I'm glad this is my first one. I've been wanting to get on here for a couple months. Yeah, here's the normal traffic around here. 4-wheelers. Yeah. 4-wheelers.
Love it.
Now, most people on here don't drive. It's either trucks or that because, man, the roads get treacherous pretty quick. You go about another half mile up, and if you don't have 4-wheel drive and 10-ply tires, you're going to lose a tire. Yeah, we've had so much rain out here. It's weird with Norman, I was so used to, the equivalent of God dumping a bucket of water over your head to now to where it's just basically continuous rain for days. So, that's why everything's green here, I guess.
We've had our share of rain here too. We had 7 inches, a little over 7 inches in the month of May.
Yeah, how'd you guys do with that hailstorm? Because man, my wife was there with the kids finishing up school, and my RV, man, was busted up bad. They actually had a grapefruit come through 2 of the vents right into I have like the standard vent, and I have a vent on top of that, so you can leave the one vent open going down the road. And she had a grapefruit size one smashed through both of them and landed right in the cab.
Yeah, they got a lot of damage in Norman, but I survived.
The weird part is over at Brookhaven, a lot of the windows and stuff on the north side of the homes got knocked out.
Yeah.
It came from the south, but there was one house over there not far. I have a lady friend that lives over there. There's one house that had a clay tile roof, and there's just holes all in it where it busted up the clay tiles.
Yeah, the west side and the north side got hit.
And she's got a high impact roof, and her little.
Right there. This was facing north. I've got shattered. Everything on this side is cracked and shattered. So, and then it goes over here. Yeah, and then this was the north. This was the west side. And I've got busted lights. It even managed something hit so hard that it dented the generator cap.
Wow.
Well,
she had a little dog. As soon as it hit, I was monitoring radios, and I called her to tell her it's getting ready to hit her. And about that time, you could hear it over the phone. It sounded like an army of sledgehammers banging on her house as hard as they could. And her little dog ran out to protect the house, and it got hit in the head and shattered its eye. So she had to run down in the middle of the night to get the eye removed.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So,
did he make it?
They're saying it's lucky it hit him. If it hit it anywhere else in the head, it would have killed it. according to the veterinary.
That's crazy.
So the moral of that story is when there's hail coming, block your doggy doors.
Yeah.
Well, the dog was with me out here, so when that hit, my wife, because I was sitting there watching it on Cave, I switched over to using Cave this year, that the National Weather Service program, and you can see all that coming in. It's like, good grief.
Which program did you
That's
say?
the other thing out here. Cave, CAVE, AWIPS.
Okay. I haven't heard that one.
That's the actual program that the National Weather Service uses. It's a little hard to use and figure out, but once you get it in there, it can pretty much do everything.
I've got a friend that's Storm Tracker that uses that stuff.
Yeah, this year, as I said, I did that. See, out here, they don't even, man, that Jonesboro tornado that hit so hard out here, they don't, their radar technology is a couple generations behind what we had in Norman, and they don't really have a spotter network.
Wow.
That it was just never, it's there, it was active, and then some of the guy behind it died, and it kind of fell idle. So the ham club here is, the ham club in Paragould is just like the ham clubs you hear all over, the opposite of ours, and very few people active on it, but Jonesboro was more active. So when I was down in Norman,
I think you're gonna have to learn how to play banjo out there.
Yeah. Well, I met my neighbor. Actually, what's interesting is I met my neighbor on the radio about 2 months ago, and he lives by neighbor, meaning he's about a mile down the road. He was on 3916 and said he was in Paragould, and then so we ended up going off frequency and chatted for about an hour, and found out he's actually good friends of the family and down the road, and yeah. So yeah, as soon as we get that going, he's going to get a couple guys here, and we're going to get a crane out here so I can put that Delta loop up.
Nice.
So, that's the only way I can figure. Mm-hmm.
I was checking out my GD77 several months ago, driving down the road. I was having issues with one of the repeaters. And I thought, well, I'll test it out on the worldwide channel. There's always somebody out there. And I put out a call, CQ basically, and the guy come back. We talked for a little bit, and I was at 39th and Council. And he's like, once we got in the conversation a little bit, where you at? I'm over in Bethany. We're right down the road on the worldwide channel of all places.
Well, you know what I had happen? I was in, was it Kuwait? Yeah, I was in Kuwait, and there was the club was doing a tech class, and they were demonstrating DMR and all that, DMR on, I think it was TAC 310 or whatever, and I heard a 5 call go across, and so I jumped on there just to talk back and everything. So yeah, but as I was in Kuwait, whenever the local club was sitting there doing that, just did a quick little chat. It was like, whoa, that was cool.
That's amazing sometimes.
Yeah, that's the trip that got me in trouble because, oh boy, I had no problem. I had permission for Kuwait and all that, but in my layover, I went through Dubai and I almost lost my gear and almost got arrested because I did not have a permit for Dubai, even though it was in my luggage.
Wow.
Yeah, it actually was all locked up. I had the battery. I kept the battery on me. I put the radio. The radio was locked up in my luggage and all that. And they did an inspection on it and found the radio. And yeah, they went into freak out mode. But luckily, yeah, I got it cleared. But yeah, I had my license there for Dubai and a couple of the other countries, or not Dubai, but for Kuwait, wherever. But see, I wasn't staying in Dubai. I was just literally a connection to go home.
Wow.
Yeah, they take that stuff pretty serious there. Oh boy, nothing like people with automatic weapons coming up to talk to you and take you to a room.
Well, of all nationalities too.
That's what drove me to start playing a way to do DMR without having to have a radio. So that scared the crud out of me because that all I did was an open. I just basically like I do with this radio. I just C4 FM to an open spot and then hop on the radio. A distance of whatever. Actually, what's crazy is here I have a distance of almost half a mile with my RV, which is crazy. Back in Norman, if I got 200 feet, I was doing pretty good. There's just a lot less. That's why I can't wait to get HF going here. It's going to be pretty nice, I bet. especially since I got full control of any possible interference. I could just throw the breaker on stuff.
You don't have to worry about the neighbors, huh?
Yeah, I got neighbors here, but like my one neighbor there is I've got but it's all my neighbors, the houses rented are all family. So it's just, they had to have another chunk of property came, another person sold to move, to retire. And I grabbed it and it's adjacent to all the other family land. So
That worked. That's pretty neat.
yeah, it's like, no, my father-in-law, he homesteaded this place like 60 years ago up here. And just all the family over the years have been buying up or sell, some would sell and all that. So now we're trying to buy up the land back that he, sold off that part of his ranch. But that was back when land was nothing. Now it's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, I've got.
Wendell,
Yes, sir.
if you work a little harder, you could be dancing on the ceiling.
You like that?
Yeah.
It's a new, look. It's a new look I'm going for.
Oh, there you go.
I had to plug in the power charge, so it's laying on its side.
Uh-huh.
I'm doing that to see if you're awake, Ken.
Oh, you're making me queasy.
Well, Ken, sit in your chair and lean over sideways.
I was going to ask you
if I was in my recliner, I'd do that. But if I did that, I'd just be sleeping anyway. So
I was going to ask you if that new call sign, can we start calling you Hefty?
Do what?
HFE. We just call you Hefe for short.
I've been called worse.
Hey, if I put that 160 meter delta in, if I feed ladder line directly to like an external tuner, I should be able to tune just about anything with that, shouldn't I?
Yeah, sure can. How many feet is this loop?
It's going to be about 90 feet off the ground, hopefully at one spot at the low point, high spot, maybe 120. But then it's 5.7. I think it's going to be 575 feet or something right around there.
Yeah, you can work many bands with that.
I got that, and I was going to put that MFJ full power. I've got it on order. I'm waiting for it to come in. That MFJ full power external tuner, or whatever. So I was going to just do ladder line into that, and then I'm only going to have like 15 feet of coax going into the shack itself.
Yeah, you'll be able to tune everything.
I'm hoping, because my wife doesn't want to see. She didn't mind the antennas down there. When I told her I was going to put one antenna still over the house, she gave me the nasty look. But I've got a little over 3.5 acres here of mowed land. And it's like perfect just to string that thing up between the trees.
Although a vertical is better on the low bands.
Yeah, I've thought about that, and DX Engineering has that one, but it's radial fields the problem out here. I'm thinking about maybe later putting one of those 80 meter quarter waves, but I'm up at the main house where we got put it in the middle of one of the cow pastures, and that way I can lay the radial field down and all that, brush hog it, layer down, and then let it go.
You got 3 acres. You got plenty of room for ground radials.
It's trees. All my trees are only so. It'd be a pain. But yeah. I started to trench this thing to do a buried line to the house, and I got about 10 feet and kept on hitting stuff. And I'm like, forget it. That's why I ended up going the microwave link.
Well, I've got a 60-foot vertical, and it's got 32 ground radials on it. And 8 of them are 100 and some feet long. The rest of them are 64 feet and a few 32 feet ones.
How much coax you got?
Huh?
How much coax do you have feeding it?
It's about 200 feet west of my house. Got RG213. RG213 underground.
Okay. Just straight in area, or you got it in conduit or anything?
It's in PVC.
PVC?
Yeah, and I got control wire going out there to control a remote tuner at the base of it.
How well does it? Can you tune anything? Does it tune everything?
Right now, I'm only using it for 630 meters and 2,200 meters. Go to QRZ.com
Okay.
Put in my call sign, click on, and you go to my website and click on antennas. There's a picture of it in there. It's a 60-foot piece of 4-inch diameter irrigation tubing.
All right. Okay, because here's what I got over here. I've got a space, because here's the shop. I've got that, see that yard space over here? I've got that yard space over there, and I own up to that trailer over there. So, you know, I got the space. The problem is there's a ditch down there. Because everything out here is gray water. We just, yeah, for everything septic and then gray water. People just dump their gray water out here.
That'll just wet the ground a little bit there and make it radiate better.
That's what I was going to say.
Make them ground radios work better.
Well, okay, the only thing I got over here in this ground thing is I've got my gray water, or I've got a gray water pipe here. I could put it put the 80 meter up right here, or put that 60 foot right here. Like in the middle, like dead center here between the trees and the shop.
Yeah. Yep. Just put down as many radios as you can. I've got 32, you know, the big boys think you should have more than that, but 32 works for me.
You know what?
I got tired of digging them trenches. I did all that by hand.
You know, I may just, because all I was going to do is that goes back into this building. You know, I wouldn't have to have a lot of coax right there.
Yeah.
I could do that.
Well,
I might. So what antenna did you use? Just a homemade one, or is it a?
It's irrigation tubing, 4-inch aluminum irrigation tubing, 60 feet long, standing up on the end, 4-inch diameter, 60 feet long, resonates at the low end of 80 meters. If you want 160, you can put a loading coil on it.
All right, you got me interested.
It costs hardly anything to build. The irrigation tubing is cheap, and it's just some wire for radials, and man, that's a good antenna. And for 80 and 160, you really do need a vertical if you're going to try to work. You know, I had a hard time working Europe on 160 meters on CW or sideband. Man, you can do it with FT8 easy now if you have a good antenna.
You think the takeoff on that be too high for like hitting Dallas and stuff?
No, I don't think so. How many miles is it?
I'd say Dallas is about 300 miles from here.
Yeah, no problem. I've tested that before against a 80-meter loop and that 80-meter vertical, and the 80-meter loop works really good out to about 500 miles. After that, that vertical takes over. But close in, the loop works better, but being 300-400 miles away, you'd probably be okay.
Yeah, because my big thing I use iTalk on 80 is up on 75, 3916, and fire on the wire crew on 3868.
Yeah,
that's my two those are the two nets I'm on every single night.
You got an amplifier for 80?
Yeah, I got an 811H.
Well, that'll do it.
All right. Yeah, because you know what? The reason I didn't look at verticals before was I eat up so much noise.
Well,
but out here, that's irrelevant.
See, people say that, but they've never had a vertical that's not next to their house. You got to get that stuff away from all the electronics, power lines, and all that. And my vertical is just as quiet as that 80-meter loop was.
All right. As I said, I'm not touching this stuff till August. I'm still living. See, I'm still at this every day. Every day this goes out to the burn pile to burn, you know, as we unpack.
So you're going to wait till it gets hot to do it, huh?
Well, the problem is I can't take a tractor or anything on the ground. That ground over there, I'd sink.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, because that's
you're referring to your 630.
Say again?
Are you referring to your 630 vertical? I'm looking at your website.
Yeah, it originally was an 80-meter vertical, and I added the loading coils to it to get it down to the lower bands. It's 4-inch diameter, 2 pieces of 30-foot, 4-inch diameter irrigation tubing, and they're spliced together in the middle. And that comes out resonant with a low end of 80.
That is definitely. Yeah, the other thing I'm doing out here is a project, although not quite ham radio, is everybody out here has TVs on all their crap and doesn't work. I'm setting up, I got a site up at the main house there, which is about 200 feet higher than where we're at. And I'm putting a GMRS repeater up there. And then we're going to put GMRS rigs on everything, or well, Biofan, or whatever that mobile version of it is. But because I'm just tired. I'm not. The CBs are just they're too big and take up too big of an antenna. Plus, I want something where the kids in the family, because we have about 20 kids between all the families here. About 20 kids, something they can use walkie-talkies on around here instead of having to. We don't have a reliable cell signal here.
Channel 6 says Oklahoma.
Shoot, you probably don't have a cell tower anywhere near you.
20 miles.
Yeah.
I can get a signal off the RV. I've got a flagpole antenna that I use on the RV, and I can hit it. I can hit it with a Yagi. Not where it's sitting right now, but there. But I originally had the RV sitting over there where that car is and up, and I could hit it. But now that I got the Starlink, I set that down and moved the RV where I actually wanted it.
That'll work.
Cool. So is this going to stay on? Are you guys going to go resume to normal face-to-face? Are you guys going to stay on Zoom indefinitely, or what's going to happen?
Well, this Saturday, we're actually going to go back to doing the monthly club meeting in person at the fire station starting this Saturday. And we're going to also do it on Zoom. And then as of next Tuesday night, Elmer night, we're going to do both at the fire station again in person and on Zoom as well, for those that just can't drive down the street and around the corner.
That's cool.
So we'll have that set up too.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, let's go what they've got. Yeah, that I think is cool. That's a cool thing. Because that's something. Whenever I talk to when am I traveling and all that, and I bump into, we get other hams. They talk about the clubs. I talk about the stuff that we've done there, and that's. In fact, that's something in here I'm going to try to get going on the Zoom idea I like.
Yeah.
Because the problem is, like here in Greene County, even though if they have a meeting, the problem is you got guys driving in from Missouri and everything. There's people from all over. It could easily be a 50-mile drive.
Right.
To come in for a meeting. Well, heck, man, for me to drive the meeting be about 25 miles.
Well, that's what we got. We got several here that actually drive that far to the fire station in Norman. So if for some reason they can't, then we're going to have the Zoom still up. But we're excited about getting back in person.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
And doing the Elmer night where we can do all kinds of projects and fun stuff.
Oh yeah, that's one of the things I always talk about. There is the Elmer night and all that, because tell them to me that's one of the coolest things is, hey, just go hang out and learn something, or just shoot the crap with everybody. Who cares? That thing.
Oh, we're gonna build antennas and hook up all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, see, I thought about doing that folded dipole thing, but then I thought, man, I got so much room here. I don't have to do it, or not the folded dipole, that fan dipole that you guys built, a couple of years ago now. Yeah, I thought about doing something like that, but then I said, I got so much room. Why limit myself to that?
Why waste coax?
Yeah.
Hey, we got Mr. Mark at home now.
I made home.
Yay.
Yay. Who's Brad? Do we know who Brad is?
No, you hadn't said anything.
His microphone's muted.
Let's see if we can coax him out.
Well, Brad, you have at least until midnight. Tell us what you have to say.
Hello,
All right.
Earl.
Hey, Randy, Bruce said you should call him.
What are we gonna call him?
The smaller clock, he's afraid he's going to break the setting mechanism. He said you said it was tough, but he wasn't kind of got the idea which sledgehammer should he bring is what he said.
Well, did Peter ever get his computer problem working? I don't see him on here, and he sent me a message on Discord, and I answered him, and now he hasn't answered back.
You broke it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he had a problem with his computer, and then all of a sudden he dropped out.
Well, he wanted to know if I'm still transmitting on 432. So I started up again and told him I was transmitting now. And that's been about 10 minutes ago. And I got nothing from him,
You broke it.
I guess.
Well, guys, it was nice seeing. I got to drop here. I got to go do something real quick.
Hey,
I
man.
just realized I forgot to do something.
All
See
right.
you later, David.
Have fun.
Yeah, see you next. I'm gonna try to be on next week, guys. This whole call, I didn't drop it all, did I?
Not a bit.
No,
No, hi, no, you're great.
the repeater timed out, though.
Yeah, I'll try. I'll get back on there. I'll get back on there in a little bit. But yeah.
I'll get a hold of you, David.
All right. Yeah, talk to me about that and everything else. So there. And by the way, hey Mark,
Yep.
I've got a Docker image out now of that system for the DMR stuff.
Oh, document it up and we'll put it in the newsletter. That's cool.
Yeah, give me a little bit more. I'm so busy with it, but it's coming. I'm hoping to get it out in a couple months.
It's going to cut your fee in half if it waits.
Yeah, whatever. All right, I got to go feed some horses. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Hey,
Bye, guys.
Mark Klein, did you order that IC 9700?
I think I'm going that way is what it looks like.
Think
What
you
was it?
are?
I think I am.
I got on the internet and I found a ham in New Zealand. You might have seen that same one that is using it on EME.
Yeah.
And he had all kinds of problems with it, but he had some fellow ham there in Australia that built him some kind of a board that went inside of it so he could hook up a 10 megahertz GPS to it. And he had a spectrum analyzer and everything hooked up to it. And after he locked it, it was rock solid. So it can be done.
Well, that's good to hear. What I have learned is that the way that 9700 sets its frequency is that every 2 to 3 seconds, it adjusts to the 10 megahertz signal. So it will jump.
Yeah.
And that's what's causing the digital stuff a problem, is my guess.
Yeah.
Is it will jump a hertz or 2 or 3.
So is there a cure for that?
Yeah, your guys' stuff, any of those any
Okay.
of those.
Oh, you're talking about the original one.
Yeah.
The one built in it.
Yeah.
I thought that was only for a marker or something, but you're saying later they went further and now it still does the jump. But yeah.
Now, version 1 was as a marker. It just uses a marker. Version 2 is it's making these jumps.
Yeah. Version 3 is the good one.
Version 3 may be a good one. And I asked, I think I did this last week, but I asked Ray Novak and he said it performs to specs and other people have third-party things that they think make it better.
Yeah.
So
well, this guy in Australia, he had proof. He had a spectrum analyzer hooked up to it, and you could see the signal, and it was frequency-wise, it was within 2 or 3 hertz of the proper frequency, and it was not drifting.
right.
So I think he's got the cure for it. But,
Yeah, and I think that my second half of that is it really a problem or is it a perceived problem? And I don't know anybody that can answer that.
He said that in the original form, he had a lot of drift, and that's why he pursued to fix it.
But
But
did it
he
cause him
had a-
problems or did he just notice he had drift?
No, he had problems decoding, especially
Okay.
on 1296, and he was on 1296. You see, the problem is magnified as you go up in frequency.
Oh yeah.
So
Parts per million, baby.
yeah,
Yeah, I think there's 2 or 3 ways around it, and one of them may be a software fix from ICOM later. I have no proof
Yeah.
of that, but
yeah.
I think that's a good way to go. I don't see anybody saying no.
Yeah. And for as far as money wise, it's probably a lot cheaper than going L-craft path or something.
L-craft and a transverter, or that, like that down east microwave converter,
Yeah.
or an extra
So you can
amplifier.
always use a transverter with that 9700 if you need
That's
to.
true. That's true. What is it? Explain the satellite dish behind you. I missed the whole thing.
Okay, I dug that out of my attic. When I put that helical antenna back up in the attic, I spotted this one, and I thought I'd bring it down to show to you. And that was used for 2.1 gigahertz, and that dish is a sled, a snow sled,
Oh,
and the feed horn is a coffee can.
That looks like the classic snow sled
Yeah,
HBO antenna.
that's exactly what it is, Phil.
We all built
Yeah.
back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, and I worked at Seagate then, and in the engineering department, and I had a friend, Troy, that worked in drafting. So I designed a board, and we ran it through Seagate's board fab to build us a bunch of boards, and we spread it out to everybody.
That's not the board that ended up at Trice Wholesale, is it?
No, I don't think so. I don't. If it did, it wasn't something I'd done. Someone probably copied it. Because
You could buy a board and a little baggie full of parts, and build it yourself.
The first board that I built was a 2-sided copper-clad board, and I carved out the circuit on it with an X-Acto blade to test it. I had trouble getting the oscillator on frequency by doing that strip line, and I used a diode, a ring diode mixer, so you come straight off of 2.1 gigahertz into the mixer, and the oscillator injected into the other part of the mixer. And the output of it was on channel 3 on the TV, which is right above 6 meters.
Okay.
So
okay. Where were you pointing that at? Was that a satellite downlink?
No, it was First National Bank building downtown.
Oh,
right on top of the old Liberty Bank building.
And it was only running 10 watts, which was puts quite a bit of power for that frequency. But
2.1, yeah.
But you could get enough gain out of that thing to down convert it. The problem was getting the local oscillator stable enough to do the down conversion.
Well, I finally got it stabilized, and I got it on my circuit board. I kept trimming the strip line until I got it resonant on the right frequency, and it was pretty stable. I didn't have a stable problem, but we had a way to the oscillator in it was controlled by voltage, and so we had a wire coming down the feed line that with a pot, we could tweak the voltage on the oscillator to tune it on frequency. And if it would drift a little bit, we'd just reach over and turn the knob and tweak it.
Well, when National Semiconductor came out with their 723 voltage regulator, that little chip would regulate that DC very close.
Yeah,
and you could tune it with a pot, and like you said, send it up and tune your LO.
Another power.
Well, that's what we did. We used a 723.
Wire for this radio, G90 right here.
TVQ. TVQ was the name of the business that started, had that for the first, back in the 70s.
So that wasn't HBO, that was TVQ.
No, that was HBO.
Well, there's probably both of them. See, we had on cable back in, I was in Wisconsin when all this happened, but we had HBO was available, and it had inverted video and a suppressed reset pulse or zero pulse. So you had to put a little filter circuit on there to unsuppress the video pulse, the
Yeah.
main
the
video pulse,
signal.
and then you had to put an inverter in there to invert the video,
Mhm.
and that's how you could get HBO without filters, shall we say.
But this was transmitted over the air, and there was no security on it. If you could build a a receiver for it, you could receive them.
Oh, so there was nothing decoding. It was just a matter, or it's unscrambling. It was just
Right. We didn't have to unscramble anything.
Well, after a while, HBO started converting their video,
Yeah.
like what you're talking about. That was their archaic way of scrambling.
Right.
But it didn't take people too long to figure out how to invert the thing.
No, we had a bunch of boards we built, the same kind of deal that a couple of us built boards, and the Radio Shack guy had a little baggie of parts that you could buy.
Yeah.
Hey.
And you can invert the thing, the video with an op amp.
Yeah.
The
No big deal there.
hams are always going to figure out a way.
That's right.
What
surprised me was how much gain you got out of that flat snow sled. That's not parabolic.
No, it's not.
It's close enough that it you had the little dipole antenna inside the can.
Yeah. No, I just had a vertical stub.
Oh, vertical stub.
Yeah. Had a BNC connector mounted on the can, and on the inside was a stub.
The original design called for a 1 pound Folgers coffee can.
Yeah.
And everybody had those coffee can down converters.
Yeah. See,
So Maxwell House wouldn't work. It had to be Folgers.
Yeah,
had to be Folgers. Yeah.
I live about probably 30 miles line of sight from downtown, and man, I had no problem. I had a beautiful picture here.
Like you said, HBO put out quite a bit of power because they were sending that out to homes with a little 12-inch dish that they put on the roof of the house.
Yeah, that was close in.
For close in, yep.
But I had a friend that lived in Yukon, and his house was situated where he could set this dish on his dining room table, pointing out his patio doors, and pick up HBO by doing that.
Yeah, if you could keep the control voltage stable to stabilize the local oscillator, and people tried all kind of stuff. Some of them had a little heater up on the local oscillator to stabilize temperature and all kind of stuff.
Well, I guess what we needed back then was we needed a 10 megahertz GPS signal that we could sync it with.
That's funny what Mark was talking about. I had that same problem with a baseband down converter that synced to a frequency standard, and it worked fine for voice. But when we put FSK and PSK modems on it, every time that sync frequency would jump, that's like a bit at PSK, and they get bit errors on the modem.
Well, that's what this guy was saying, is that every 3 seconds it would jump frequency. And I just think that's, probably their first attempt at that.
That's exactly what FSK modems do when they go from mark to space. They jump frequency.
Yep.
So the modem interpreted that as a bit, and it would add a bit, and they get bit errors.
Yep.
I guess, Mark, that would depend on how much drift you had, whether it would be noticeable or not. If it drifted quite a bit and it had to correct it, it could be a problem.
And that's what I was asking, is anybody really known that?
Good evening, Randy, KD5U Geo.
I didn't copy that.
Yeah. Has anybody really noticed that that's a problem, a real problem, or is it just a paper problem?
Yeah, I don't know.
I know one good way to test it, don't you?
Yeah. I can send you a 432 signal when you get ready.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good way to do it. Yeah. Yeah. I did start playing with my NOAA dish last night or night before last or something recently. That 1.6941 signal, and I've got it all listening, and I'm hearing it. I just haven't got it aimed correctly. I don't know which way south was, and I set it all up in front of my shop, and the satellite is on the other side of the shop. So I was shooting through the shop to get to it, but I was seeing a little bitty blip on the signal coming through. So
What frequency?
1.6941 gig. So 1694.
Wonder if my dish up here would work on that. A little bit lower than it's designed for.
Which dish?
My little sled here.
It would. It'd be close, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but probably close enough.
That's funny. When I get this going, we'll give yours a try and see if that'll slide in there. That's funny. But I got all the hardware working. I got all the stuff hooked up. And I'm seeing a signal, but it's just really, it's probably 510 dB above the noise kind of thing, and they're showing like 40 or 50 dB above the noise.
Where's this signal coming from?
Goes 16 satellite.
Oh, I can copy this one satellite. I told you, I think last week, it's AS44, and it's a linear satellite, CW on the low end and sideband on up. And I'm copying some pretty good, strong signals off of it by using this homebrew 10 element. Antenna that was made out of copper tubing, and I've got it up where I can rotate it. So I don't have elevation, but I can rotate it the direction the bird's coming in, and I can copy it pretty good.
Yep.
I've got the 20 element on the 14-foot beam completed. I think you've seen that I posted.
Yep.
And I'm not going to put it up on the tower until I can test it. And for moon bounce, you don't have to be up on a tower.
No.
I'm going to put it down low so I can point it at the moon. As soon as I can see the moon, it's overcast every day,
Yeah.
And see if I can copy somebody before I go any further with it.
Yeah.
And I don't have a preamp. Something else you will probably need is a 432 preamp or 1296 preamp.
Oh yeah.
Not to start with, but
yeah,
it will help. Wish I had a dish like yours. I'd be doing 1296.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I'm going to end up trying 432 first, based on your suggestion, and then 1296, and then go VHF and try all three, because that should be just changing out feed horns.
I've been looking at that website from Switzerland. The guy the ham over there.
The EME, the newsletter board.
Yeah, let me see if I can. Oh, HB9Qs is call sign.
Oh yeah.
And you can you can click on whichever band you want to look at, from 6 meters on up to way up there, 23 centimeters and higher. And the 6 meters got quite a bit of activity that I'm surprised. But even the 432 and the 1296, those guys, a lot of them are on all of those higher bands, and they pick whichever one the conditions are best on to be on. So I'm not going to have that luxury to be able to swap from band to band up there, but I think you should do good on 1296 with that.
I would think so. I would think all three would probably work out well.
I don't think you'll get a lot of gain on 2 meters, but.
Oh, you don't think so?
Well, not near like you will on 432 or 1296.
Yeah. But, you got 100 watts there instead of 50 watts. So
Yeah, that's
that
true.
may be all you need different. I don't know. Yeah. Just
It's a
need to
fun
put a little
project.
Yagi.
It's a fun project, isn't it, Mark?
Oh yeah. This is crazy. It's crazy. Now it's into the concrete phase, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
Hey, man, have you ever tried your handies off
Literally and figuratively. But yeah, that's where I've been playing is with the SDR stuff, trying to get that all working. I still don't have the software from that XRIT guy, and there's a Linux version, so I think I'm going to run the Linux version first and see if there's a reason. I think it's about $100 software for the Windows side. For the Windows, the GOES satellite downlink, there's a file downloader that runs 24/7, and it just decodes all the file information and all the information coming off the dish and stuffs it into files in the your file directory. That's kind of just the production side of that, where it just downloads file after file after file. And the Windows side, there's some libraries that he has to pay for, so he's charging for about $100. But there's a free Linux side.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
And I can spell Linux, so I'm thinking about trying that first. And then if this all works, the goal is to take it to the fire station, and that would give them the polygons to run the sirens off of.
Yeah.
But there's still so much I have no clue about what I'm doing on.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn.
Yep. Oh my gosh, these guys are doing. I never thought about it. DXCC and worked all states via EME. I guess. Yeah. Why not?
Why not? Just like any of the other bands.
Yeah, I'm not a paper guy, so I'm one of those. Okay, we got it working. Let's do something new. But that could be a fun thing.
In DNL, on your QRZ page, you talk about a rotatable dipole. How does that work? My experience with dipoles are attached to the ground.
Ken, you don't have any audio.
Happened to my audio.
There you are.
There you are.
Okay. Did you see the picture of the rotatable dipole?
Let me get back there. I looked at it a little bit ago.
It's a 66-foot long, 40-meter dipole that's got a gamma match on it, and it rotates with that BA rotor there.
What is a gamma match? Remember, I'm very uninitiated here.
What is a gamma match?
Yes, sir.
Normally a match like used on Yagi antennas.
Where do I go?
Matches the impedance of the dipole to the coax.
I moved over to your web page. Where would I find that? Or is it back on your QRZ page?
Oh, yeah. If you're on my web page, click on. Oh, it's not on my web page.
No, I don't see it there.
My web page is mostly 630 meter.
I see that.
But QRZ.com,
60.
QRZ.com, and my call sign has a picture of the 40-meter rotatable dipole and my 10-meter 5-element monoband homebrew Yagi. And that's behind my house. And that 10-meter Yagi has got hard line going to it. I didn't want to lose any of that signal.
Okay, I'm getting back now. I'm down to the antennas and stuff. What am I looking for?
Scroll down to the rotatable dipole. It might be close to the bottom.
Yeah, it's a good piece down there. Here's the picture on my screen. It's just a big old long pole.
Yeah. So that's the 40-meter dipole below and the 5-element 10-meter monobander up on top. And that 10-meter monobander boom is made out of 3-inch diameter irrigation tubing, 25 foot long. And it also has a gamma match.
You ran PVC all the way to the top of the tower?
Yeah, you see where that's 4-inch PVC there. It's got hard line in it. And that's where my hard line ends right there. And then I have some LMR 400 going the rest of the way up.
So you got the hard line inside that PVC?
Yeah.
Wow. Is the cap come off and then you attach to it down here in the straight part?
Yeah, it's got
Okay.
it's got a 180-degree
Yeah.
bend there, and that comes off, and that's where the connection from the hard line to the LMR 600 or LMR 400 there. I had to have something flexible to that would rotate. You rotate that thing. You can't rotate hard line, that's for sure.
Did you have them both connected at the same feed line, or was there two feed lines there?
Say again?
Was there 2 feed lines, or is that okay?
Two feed lines.
2 feed. Okay.
I've got some LMR 400. I'm going to run another line up through there. If I use that tower for 432 EME, I'm going to have a separate piece of coax for receive. There's my 432 antenna. That's on the patio, and I've got the VNA hooked up to it.
Yep.
And I welded all those elements on there with aluminum brazing, aluminum rod to aluminum boom. And that boom is rigid enough, it doesn't need any support. Anyway, I'm thinking about running a separate feed line for the receive than I do transmit on this antenna on the 432. If it works successfully and there's enough activity, I may build another one and put it on an H frame, and that'll give me a pretty good gain to do
like that.
Like that's the 2-meter one there. That's 4. Those are M squared, 33 feet long booms, 17 element on that. That's a 2-meter moon bounce set up there.
Wow.
Hey, Mark.
Hey.
Brad has a question for everybody.
I was just going to do that. Go ahead and read it off for him. I think this will start a religious argument. Go ahead.
He just says, "Hi, everybody. I have a tech license and I'm interested in trying out 10 meters. Would a attic dipole be sufficient to get started?
Well,
Trying to stay inexpensive. Thanks, Brad."
Why don't you answer that, Mark?
No, go ahead, Ken. You're the expert.
We had that question before on here.
Yes, we did, but you answer it very well.
The problem, I guess Brad's listening. The problem with an antenna in your attic is you pick up all the noise that's being radiated from the wiring in your attic. That's the big problem.
And you radiate it back into your house.
Yeah, and you put it back into your house wire, which makes your air conditioner come on. That's what happened to a friend of mine. He sold me his amplifier because his wife didn't like it. When he keyed up, the blower would come on the central air.
But there are inexpensive ways to do 10-meter antennas.
Yeah.
Is another answer. You can put a dipole up, depends on your housing stuff. Go ahead and, if you've got the opportunity, go ahead and unmute, we'll ask questions. But, if you've got a pole to mount it from, or a couple of trees to hang a dipole from.
10 meters for a quarter wave vertical on 10 meters is very easy to do. And a quarter wave on 10 meters is only about 10 feet long. And you can make it out of a piece of aluminum tubing coming from Lowe's, buy a 10-foot piece of tubing and put about 3 ground radials on it and make a above ground radial. Put the vertical on a pole and then use 3 guy wires as your radials and man, you can work the world on 10 meters with that. Or a 10-meter dipole is easy. And it's not very big antenna. I think hanging it from the eave outside of your house would be better than putting it inside. Don't you, Mark?
Yeah, commercial break. Brad, it would be real good if you'd like to come to the Elmer night next Tuesday night. We're going to start back in person. And that's a good question to ask. And we can show you some ideas to putting up inexpensive antennas and get you started on your disease of antennas, they call it. Once you do one, you got to do 10 more.
Yeah, Mark, you started with 1. How many you got now?
I'm up to 8. So, and it's growing.
In about 3 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Brad, if you like, you're more than welcome to come to our Elmer night. And I'm sure round table, as we call it, we can give you some ideas on antennas.
We can build you a dipole real easy. All you have to do is hang it up somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's at the fire station number 7 in Norman. Mark, give them the exact address.
2207 Goddard. It's on the Elmer Night page, or it's on the front page for that's where our meeting is Saturday. So 2207 Goddard, Norman, Oklahoma. And he says he'll try to make it. And we'll be there the next week and the next week. So don't worry about it.
You betcha.
Don't worry
What time is that, guys?
Say again, Eric.
What time is that?
Which?
The meeting there at number 7.
Saturday's 9. Everybody stands around, looks at each other. 9:30, we start the meeting.
Have to have your coffee.
Well, that's for you coffee drinkers. That's what we have to do. And there will be donuts. Mr. Lockett said he would provide donuts.
Okay, Brad, you can build a dipole. It's 16.5 feet long, cut in half with an insulator in the middle. Feed it with some RG 8X or something. That'll make you a dipole. And if it's 10 feet up in the air, it'll work.
Yep.
Ken, now that I've found the picture, can you tell me again about what's the deal with gamma match? Can I qualify for that for the uneducated?
You're asking about the gamma match?
Yes.
Well, the middle of a dipole, whether it's a low band dipole or a VHF dipole on a beam antenna, the feed impedance at the center of it is not 50 ohms. So this gamma match matches the impedance of the antenna to your 50 ohm coax. You can Google gamma match, it'll show you a picture of it. I have even built gamma match verticals before.
So is that just an element of the way you construct it, or is that a bits and bobbles thing that you built?
Yeah, these are homemade gamma matches, but you can buy antennas, 2-meter antennas that have gamma match on them.
But gamma match is then a feature based on the design and construction then?
Yes.
Okay.
Google gamma match.
Okay, I will.
It will probably, if there's a particular Yagi antenna you want to build, a gamma match is probably the easiest match to build. You have to match it to something. Your coax has to be matched to the driven element, whether it's a dipole or a Yagi with 2 elements or 20 elements on it.
So far, I just have some
The driven element is not going to match your coax on a Yagi.
Okay. I was looking at your rotatable dipole still. That's kind of fast.
Yeah, that's 66 feet long piece of aluminum up there. You turn that broadside to whoever you're working, and I guarantee you they hear you.
I've been impressed. Like I say, mine's just a couple of wires with an SO239 in the middle. It's a fishing pole.
Yeah.
You know, I've been impressed with some of the people I hear. So that one get there a little bit. I can't imagine how cool that would be.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, Brad, and on my screen, I guess I'll put a link in the chat. Let me put a link in the chat also, is a 10 meter, I mean, just a really rough, crude 10-meter dipole. And that's exactly what we all do. So it's, you know, not anything special.
If you can put that broadside to Europe this winter, you'll be able to work Europe on 10 meters with 50 watts or less.
Yep. When 10 meters comes, man, look out.
Yeah.
Hey, Ken, how did you insulate the bottom of that vertical antenna where it's mounted to the ground?
Okay. It's got a, I don't know if you can see that at the bottom of that, there's a white piece. That's the insulator. It's some kind of a plastic. I don't remember what the name. Oh, that's the unipole antenna there, and that one has insulator off the power line at the bottom of it, right there.
It looks like a 6-inch PVC coupler.
Oh, that is on there, but that is not the insulator.
Oh, okay.
That piece on there was there to brace up the bottom of that tubing, because that tubing, that piece is what I used to get that big 60-foot antenna up in the air. Well, you was looking at the unipole, wasn't you?
Oh, in the center of the unipole?
He was looking at it.
Got it.
And that's 4-inch, that's 30-foot piece of 4-inch irrigation tubing. And it's got a, if you look close, well,
where'd it go
one
here?
of those pictures I think showed it. But that was that one you're looking at there was the unipole antenna, and right down at the bottom of it, you can just barely see that insulator. And it's sitting on I used one of those solar tube, round cardboard tube to pour that piece of concrete. And that piece of concrete only goes down the ground 2 or 3 inches. It's just kind of a pad to set that pole on. And that is really a good working antenna. If you read all the information on it there, you can also use that on 160 meters. I've also used it on 630 meters, but it works okay. And actually, the guy in California needed an antenna that he could put in his small backyard. So that's whenever I decided to build that unipole antenna for 630 meters. That guy had a little bitty backyard in California, and I sold him one of my amplifiers, and so I felt obligated to help him build an antenna.
Do we know who Joe is? Has Joe said anything? Welcome, Joe. How did you go?
But Phil, probably the best shot of that antenna, not you was looking at the unipole, go on qrz.com and scroll down and you'll see some antenna stuff there.
Okay, thanks.
Yahoo!
Yeah, as a matter of fact, if you go on QRZ, you can even see the remote tuner I have opened up, And also right next to that picture on QRZ.com is a printout from Logbook of the World of my QSO with North Korea.
North Korea?
North Korea.
Who was that?
Yeah.
I lied. I told a new guy that North Korea was unobtainium.
Well, it's pretty hard to get. This was on 10 meters a while back.
Really?
Let's see, it was in 2004. I worked North Korea. Is that P5/4L4FN?
Yeah, I don't see it here on the QRZ.
Yeah, go to QRZ.com,
Yeah.
put in my call sign and scroll down till you see the picture of the 630 meter antenna with the tuner opened up where you can see the inside. You see a roller inductor and a vacuum variable.
I don't see it. You must have eaten the picture.
Good here. You on QRZ.com?
Yeah.
What do you see?
I
What
see.
What pictures do you see?
Oh, there it is. I see it. I got it. Look at that. There it is.
See the P5?
DPRK. Look at you. Good golly. 2004, February.
How many people's got North Korea?
I don't know. That's a good question.
And then the other card there is China on 2 meter moon bounce.
Oh, don't do that to me.
See that BD4SY?
I saw the China. I didn't look at the mode.
Yeah, that's 2 meter moon bounce. JT65. That was in 2012. I was using the TS2000 then. Oh, he was using the TS2000 also.
Yep.
And I think if you scroll down more, you'll see, yeah, down at the bottom is where that 10 meter mono bander is. And
yep.
Yeah, my, and I like that 432 20 element Yagi there. That's going to be a killer, I think. It was kind of it took me a long time to that big old piece of 1.5 inch square tubing is pretty thick wall. And it was hard to get that thing hot enough to melt that aluminum rod.
Yeah.
And it was a bigger process than I thought it was going to be. But
Yep. You loop fed that. Is that just a bunch of rod welded together?
say again?
You loop fed that thing. Is that just a bunch of rod welded together?
Oh, that the feeder, the feed point, that is a folded dipole, and it's made out of number 10 copper wire, and I'm using a piece of RG8X for the ballon. And the reason that I'm using this type of a feed is because this is a balanced feed, and gamma match is not a balanced feed.
Yeah.
And this gets into the question that Peter was asking last week, whenever he said he was testing in some kind of a laboratory, and they was getting some oddball lobes off the side. I didn't think about telling him then, or asking him what kind of a driven element they were using. But if you use this balanced driven element, the lobes are a lot cleaner and no oddball lobes, which means you get more gain to the forward direction. And this antenna should have about 25 dB front to back, which is all you need for moon bounce, because you don't have too much coming in behind you, mainly because you're pointed up in the air. So you don't need any more front to back than 25 dBs.
Right. Right.
But I got the SWR down on this to 1.4, which is not as good as I have it on that 10 element that I have up on the tower, but I'm using a different kind of a match on it. Remember, I was using a hairpin match on it. I built 3 432 antennas recently, and every one of them has got a different match on them.
You're gonna do that 10 element and the 20 element as a stackable?
Say again?
You're gonna use the 10 element and the 20 element as a stackable?
No, no, you need a matched pair if you're gonna stack them.
You need it to look like that.
I'll have to build another one of these.
You need a stack like that is what you need for stackable.
Yeah, I need to. I'll build an H frame and put two of those 20 element on it. Keeps me busy.
Oh, I imagine. I imagine.
I seem like I have to have some kind of a project going though.
Yeah. It keeps you out of the pool halls.
Yeah.
Trying to find that Bob Heil moon bounce picture again.
The what?
Bob Heil's moon bounce picture.
Yeah. That antenna that Dave down there in East Texas, that'd be one to look up. I can't remember his call sign though. You know who I'm talking about? Oh, was it W5UN? Was that his call?
I don't know. I know Marshall. You remember Marshall?
Yeah, I remember Marshall. He was always the big contest guy, EME
Yeah.
contest guy.
I talked to him about 6-8 months ago.
Yeah.
He's down in Texas somewhere. Changed his call sign. I don't remember. I got an email of it, but he changed his call sign. He did one of those let the license expire thing.
Yeah. Google do this on QRZ, Mark. W5UN.
Okay.
And place a picture of his antenna up there if you can. Now that is an antenna. W5UN.
Oh my gosh.
Now he's the one that I mentioned on here before, that me and him both had our antennas pointed at the moon, and I could copy his signal off I could copy him direct, even though our antennas was both pointed at the moon.
Oh my gosh.
And then about a couple of seconds later, I would copy the signal coming back from the moon, and it always had a Doppler shift. So the two they were separated by a few hundred hertz. So I could tell which one was direct and which one was off the moon.
Wow. We're talking about Doppler shift on that 9700. How does it doing that? Is it just trying to keeps the signal at the same level? It can't be.
I don't know how that works. The TS2000 that I had was, it was set up for satellite, and had a program that done that kept took care of the Doppler shift. Of course, it was uplink on 2 meters and downlink on 432. So the higher frequency you go, the more Doppler shift you have.
Yeah.
You'll get into that on 1296, but it doesn't matter on moon bounce about the Doppler shift, because you're looking at a waterfall, and if his signal is not the same, if his is 200 or 300 hertz up or down from yours, no big deal, because you're looking at a waterfall that's a couple of kilohertz wide.
Yep.
You don't
It
even
says
know.
here that all those antennas are gone except for a G5RV. So that array is down.
Yeah, someone told me he got hit by a tornado or wind or something, tore everything up.
Oh.
And there was another one that's about like that in Ohio. I can't remember his call. But man, 2 meter activity, 2 meter moon bounce was really active back then. I look at it now and it just doesn't seem very active like it was.
Well, maybe, it may show up when people get all excited about solar stuff, even though it doesn't help, but
About what?
even though it doesn't help, when people get excited about solar cycle 25.
Yeah.
It might.
That's a nice thing about moon bands. It doesn't matter if the propagation is good or bad.
Yep.
The bad thing about moon bounce is there's, good and bad times for moon bounce. And that is whenever the sun is behind the moon, you pick up noise from the sun. So that's not a good time. And whenever, the good times when the moon is close to Earth and the sun's not behind it. So, you're not going to get on there and make QSOs every day on moon bounce.
Yeah. I did have somebody ask me that you can only do moon bounce on full moon days, and I had to explain how that worked.
Yeah.
Well, I do astrophotography, and you can't believe how many people ask me if I see any aliens.
Yeah.
When I'm doing.
Yeah, I've got pictures. Want to buy some?
I like the one where people will go out in the backyard at night to photograph the moon, and they'll use a flash.
Yeah.
So it'll light the moon up a little better.
That's a good one, Phil. Like their flash is going to cover 250,000 miles. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
The UFOs are real. The DOD has said so.
I know it. That's right. I have no problem with UFOs. That don't mean it's an alien UFO.
Right.
I throw a rock and people don't know what it is. It's a UFO.
There you go.
I don't know if you guys remember or not, but years ago, there was a lot of UFO people calling into radio stations and stuff, spotting UFOs. I was just thinking not too long ago, we need to do that. We need to send us up a balloon with a bunch of LEDs going around in a circle on it, and then call some local radio station and say, I seen a UFO. Man, that'll get it going again.
Yeah.
Well, we got the balloons.
Yeah.
You'd have everybody and their grandmother outside trying to take shots with it with a shotgun.
And
We
everybody
actually-
would
they're-
be seeing,
They're UAPs now, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Eric, I sent you a message again.
That may well be what many of them were. Some of them, anyway.
Yeah. That and reflections and all kinds of.
We put up a weather balloon at Field Day many years ago with an 80-meter vertical, and
Wow.
it was right in the flight. Reeves Park in Norman, which is right in the flight path of
Oh yeah.
of the airport. We told the airport we're doing it. We were below the minimums. We put a flashing strobe in the balloon at night, and the guys at the airport, we'd told them, hey, we're doing this. Here it is. In case you get a pilot report, it's us. Don't worry about it. Here's our number if you need to call us. And it was like, yeah. They kind of blew us off. Yeah. Well, about 10 o'clock at night, we
lost you, Mark. We lost your audio, Mark.
Oh, did you? Where'd my audio go?
I heard you now.
Okay.
I heard about 10 o'clock at night, and that's when
About 10 o'clock, our phone started ringing big time from the tower. And they said, is that you guys still out there? We're getting a lot of reports.
Yeah. Yeah. We could do that. We ought to do that. That'd be a fun project.
It was not a big deal, but it wasn't really worth the effort to do it, but the story is worth a million.
Yeah, I was talking about just turning a balloon loose with some flashing LEDs in it.
Yeah, but what radio station would you call anymore? Is there there's no radio stations.
No.
They're all programmed out of Botswana or Chicago or somewhere.
And you can't call a TV station because they can't send a video camera out and take a picture of it, so they wouldn't report it.
Yeah, and all the local stations are all religious, or they're sports stations, and the sports stations will go, yeah, you're just like the rest of our listeners. Keep going.
Well, find a gamma match on there while you're surfing, Mark, and put it up there for Lendl. Oh, if he's still here. Don't see him.
Brad was asking, does anybody have any experience with Kenwood hybrid radios? He's got a TS530S. And I said, yeah, it's a very popular radio. Club just got a 5. Here's a question for anybody. We got a 520 SE donated to the club. What's the difference between an SE and a non-SE radio? Anybody know?
You got me.
It's enhanced.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. That's what I was afraid of. Yeah, that's not the best picture, but yeah, that showed up, and I don't know if it works or not. We'll have to plug it in. We have a project for next week's Elmer night. Peter Core's son is doing antennas for National Weather Service radio, and he's got stuff to build 30 different J-poles out of twin lead material. So next Tuesday, the goal is to build one and see if we can get it tuned and working.
At 160 megahertz?
No, 162. Yeah, 162.4 megahertz. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I thought you mean 160 meters. No. Yeah, 162.4 megahertz. And we'll get one working and maybe shoot a video of it going together.
Yeah,
and
these DNAs are great for doing antennas, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the goal, is put it on the VNA and let it run. And then the next Elmer night we can build some more, and then field day we can put some together in the afternoon to help him get his little project going. And then Grizzle wants a bunch of them made for. These are going to use some RG174 coax, little short jobs, and then Grizzle wants some that we're going to do out of twin lead, but with RG6 and run like a 30 and a 50 meter, 30 and 50 foot chunk of RG6 cable, and that way they can they're seeing a lot of like places like rec centers and stuff like that have a radio, but they can't get it near an outside window.
Yeah,
and that's the goal there. So we'll at least have one build project going for the next couple weeks. Building, yeah.
Well, never did hear anything back from Peter N5UWY. I don't know if he smoked it or what.
Is he on Discord? Did you look?
Yeah, Discord. Yeah. I stopped transmitting. I transmitted for 30, 40 minutes and never heard a thing back from him.
Yeah,
I got a message here I didn't see.
Oh, there you go.
KC5 KLD. Which one is that?
I want to test.
That's me, Ken.
Where?
Oh, it's Eric.
That's me, Eric.
So it's Eric. Eric, I can't do FM.
That's fine. No worries.
I can do.
We'll send him a carrier.
I can do CW, digital mode, or sideband down at the low end down there.
If you had a 9700, it'd be no sweat.
Yeah.
I can't. My antenna is built for the bottom end, and I'm using a transverter.
We'll just send him a carrier. He should be able to hear it.
Yeah. You want a carrier?
Where are you at? 432.1?
432.125. 432.125. I'm transmitting.
Okay, hold on a second.
FT8 right now. You're in Norman?
Yeah.
432.125?
Yeah. You're in Norman?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm kind of pointed toward Norman. I I'm
I got
transmitting
nothing.
FT8, so it's a 15-second transmit, 15 seconds off. Or I can give you a carrier. I can hit the tune button on the K3 and give you a carrier.
Yeah, let's see if I can hear you. I don't have anything.
It's about to start. It's keying up here in a minute. Okay, it's transmitting now.
Yeah, I got nothing. Yeah, maybe I'll test it out with like Mr. Klein because I can hear him pretty scratchy on the reverse.
Are you on a handy talkie inside?
No. I've got a tram of about 20 foot in the air.
Well, it's a vertical.
Yes.
Gosh, you should be able to hear me.
Wow.
Of course, I guess being that the transceiver being in FM mode.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's
Because
all right. I was just curious. I had tested it with it was several miles from me. And I just wanted to try it out again to see where I could get on simplex on UHF.
Let's go ahead and listen, Eric, on the input of the repeater. Reason I'm scratchy.
On 443 on what? 443
448 7. 448.3, sorry. 448.7. 448.7, sorry, 448.7.
Right, that's the 443.7 repeater. Okay. I'm listening on simplex there right now.
Okay, I've got low power. That's why you probably can hear me just barely, but stand by. Hello, test N5HZR, test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, you're like S1.
Yeah, I've probably got 3 watts going out of the antenna. So that's I've got it on low because I'm 2 miles from the repeaters. I don't.
Are you listening on simplex right now or on the reverse?
I'm listening on the repeater. You can go ahead and transmit on 443.7.
Yeah,
and I'll listen.
AC5 KLD.
I got nothing there.
There's Jared showed up.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Hey, there's Jared.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm moving back to Norman next week.
No.
Yeah, we decided to go with a different apartment. So, so unfortunately, I'm losing my 3rd floor balcony though, which is very sad.
I see you on Discord all the time, but you don't ever talk to it.
Yeah, I usually just leave it open in the background. Me and my buddies use it a lot for school stuff, so it's usually just open in the background.
Gotcha.
By school stuff, you mean
well, right now it's not school stuff, but
gangster.
What video games? Yeah, we use it for that too. Yeah. But yeah, normally that's what we use for school stuff, and so it auto opens when I turn on my PC, and it stays open most of the time.
I have mine on here at the house, and if I'm at the office, I pop it up. It's like, wait a minute, why am I already? Oh yeah, it's the house.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like Discord. For me, it's better than Slack or anything else, just because it's a little easier to navigate, in my opinion. But
I don't have a problem with it. I think it's great. We should be using it more.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a great little thing.
I need to put that in the newsletter one of these next week, maybe.
Hey, Mark Klein, I'm going to try that again.
Okay, stand by. Go ahead.
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, Discord's really nice. It'd also be nice for something like Field Day, especially with everybody using with the possibility of at-home operators this year.
That's what I was going to put in the newsletter, was to suggest that people checked in and we could have it running at the big firehouse.
Yeah, and you can stream through it and all that kind of stuff too. It's kind of crappy, but if you don't pay for their premium service, their streaming is kind of, but
And you're on the repeater.
It came through at that time, fine.
Hello, test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait a minute. Am I on the repeater frequency or am I on the direct out? I think I'm on direct out. Oh, that's right. This radio is set up wrong, so I can never get into the repeater.
That time you keyed up the repeater, but no modulation.
Yeah, I think I've got a setting incorrect. In 5.8 yeah, I've got a setting incorrect because I can never get in on the siren net on that one. I've got to reprogram that stupid
radio is it?
CS 800D.
Mm.
I programmed it wrong about a year ago and I forgot all about it. I keep forgetting about it. If I go grab it to talk on UHF,
Sierra Whiskey
I have
on 448.7 simplex.
I'm not listening on 448 simplex. Hold on.
I'm not hearing you.
4487. KC5 KLD.
Yeah, from where I'm at right now, I can't hear much in terms of simplex, unfortunately.
America.
Yeah, I'm way out here right now. Not way out here.
Where are you moving to?
So we're moving to the Terra apartments over on 24th.
24th and
there's not really a crossroads there. It's 24th. It's over by I don't know, over by Guitar Center and
that's by my office.
Yeah,
they've got some third floor stuff there, fourth floor.
Well, but they don't have balconies. All the balconies are way out of my price range.
Put a piece of tape on the window.
Yeah, they didn't have a lot of options. Unfortunately, I'm on the first floor, but
okay.
But I made it work at my old apartment, so I'll make it work at this one.
Good. My nephew went and toured the links today.
Oh, good.
So
yeah, it's a nice place to live if you want to be on that side of town. It's just that's opposite side of town for what me and my wife where we spend all of our time, so it didn't really make a lot of sense.
Yep.
You don't realize how big of a city Norman is until you have to go all the way around it a couple times a day.
It takes me 20 minutes to get to my office, which is outside of town. It takes me 30 minutes to get downtown.
Right.
Yeah, Terra's right across this on the airport.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, get to watch airplanes, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Which, you know.
That's right by my office.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
That's where we're gonna be. It's
just the other side of the airport.
Nice place. A little more expensive than we wanted to pay, but it's one of those things like we get free covered parking and all that kind of stuff. So in Oklahoma, that's a nice thing to come by.
Is that parking garage on?
Is that parking garage what?
Is it on top of the building?
It's attached to the side of the building, kind of.
Okay.
It's in the center, kind of.
Yeah, the building kind of, so it's like a big circular building around the pool, and then it kind of forks out, and then that surrounds the parking garage.
Yeah, I drive by that on the daily, and I've always wondered where the parking goes.
Yeah, it's kind of right. It's kind of right in the middle. It's an interesting little shape. It's a super nice place. But
it's like, I mean, they're new.
Yeah. And they're building a senior living place. The same people are building a senior living place right next door, which means it'll stay fairly quiet, which is nice. It's just it's one of those apartments that are just out of the price range of most like normal college students. So you don't get like most of the people living there are 24 plus, I would say. So
old people.
Yeah. But I just mean it's not a a party central rowdy spot, which is nice. So yeah, they're old.
Speak for yourself, old man. Some of us aren't 24 yet.
This is true. I am not.
That's right. Yeah, you're a youngster. How are they letting you in?
It's that physical or mental?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it matters.
Good question, Lynn.
It matters when you go to buy beer. That's the only thing that matters.
Some of us refuse to grow up.
Exactly.
Not a bad thing.
I don't want to grow up. I'm not a Toys R Us kid.
Mark.
Yes.
You find that gamma match at Lindell?
No, I had a phone call I had to take, so I've missed it.
Gotcha.
back online here.
There's kind of the best picture I've seen of it.
Can you see that, Lyndall?
It disappeared on me. Where'd it go?
Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4.
In Mark here.
I got
Whoop.
you, Mark.
And if you think you're operating direct current, you've got it wrong. It's dead shorts unless you're using radio.
Well, I use a tube with a inner part of RG8 going inside the tube, and that's my capacitor. So I don't have a tunable capacitor. And then the adjustment on it is the outer part there that you have your cursor on. You slide that along the element to tune the antenna to get the lowest SWR.
Okay. Very interesting.
And impedance, right? You got to watch both.
Yes.
So would that affect me when I'm doing my simple wire dipole? You know,
No, you know.
I wind it.
Are you doing a dipole and it's fed with 50 ohm coax in the middle?
Yes, sir.
Is it an inverted V or is it a flat dipole?
Like
inverted.
that.
Okay. As you slope the ends of a dipole down, it lowers the feed point impedance. If it's a flat top, your center impedance is about 72 ohms. When you slope it down, you get closer to 50 ohms. And that's how you don't have to have, that's the reason you don't have to have anything matching in there. Because your inverted V is close to 50 ohms.
Okay, I didn't realize. I was just
whereas on a Yagi antenna, like a 2 meter 5 element beam or something, when you put the reflector and the director close to the driven element, it lowers the impedance of that thing down to 20 ohms or so. And that's why you need a match to transform that 20 ohms back up to your 50 ohm coax impedance.
okay.
Have you guys ever seen the YouTube video explaining why hams use 50 ohms impedance? Or I'm sure most of you guys probably know why, but I thought it was interesting.
What is their story? There's a lot of stories.
Yeah. What is their story?
So it's calling it the average between. It's the average for the best power output and the least attenuation. I'll link it.
I think it's because it was easy for manufacturers companies to build, and we adapted to it.
I sent you a link. I don't know how accurate it is, but it seems like
that's my story, Jared, and I'm sticking to it.
I hear
you. Early radios were in the order of 35 ohms.
Right, which is the lowest attenuation point, I believe.
Well, that's where the output was nice. That was where everything worked out to make the output.
Right. So I think it was saying that like 75 ohms, which is this video that's a Dave Kassler video. So you never, the guy usually is speaking somewhat truth.
Yeah.
But anyways, he was saying that 75 ohms is used a lot for TVs and stuff, most likely because that's the lowest attenuation. So you can get really low signals in via that impedance.
Because they were running miles of cable to get to a guy's house. Yes.
Yeah. Right. And then the 35, 33 ohm stuff was used a lot for that's to get the best power output. And then 50, if you take the means of those two numbers, it's right around 50 ohms. So you get kind of the best of both worlds. Whether that's complete malarkey it's entirely possible. But
we had to standardize on something.
Right.
Here's the Belden story off of our SCARS paper. Oh no.
Mm-hmm. Your computer, Mark.
Oh no.
A little fuzzy on my end.
No, they busted my link.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna have to go to Wayback Machine. The Belden page has a whole whole deal on how it happened. Dadgummit, I need to go grab that because that's a cool.
Yeah, I linked that video in the chat if anybody wants to watch it and bust all his theories. But I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I see it in the chat there.
Yeah.
Jared. I'm not going to watch it right now though.
Oh, I don't blame you.
Yeah,
I thought it was interesting. It's one of those random YouTube things that just got suggested to me, and I was like, huh, why not? I'll bite.
Mr. Klein, I have some siren net questions before my phone runs out.
Okay, the loud sound is good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Thanks for clarifying. Speaking of loud sounds, when you went out and were kind enough to go out and check on number 61 and you had your lengthy report.
Yes.
Did they do anything about that?
They were going to send it out and check, but I don't know. I'm going to meet with David Thursday night, and that's a really good thing to go ask.
My question is, having heard your report on the summary, why does it say it tested good?
Because it did produce a good sound. Now, was it perfect? No.
Sound good.
It was it perfect? No. But I deemed it as a good sound. It would supply signal to that area that it needed to.
Okay, I picked up sending out a growl. I didn't know that it was actually making.
Well, it was making. Yeah, maybe that wasn't clear enough in my piece, but it was sufficient sound. In addition, I don't remember what there is, 6 or 8 drivers in there. To me, it sounded like one of the drivers was going bad on the thing and growling. But it did put out. That's a good question, and it's a very good question. It did put out sufficient sound that I would say a mere mortal would not differentiate from a working siren.
Okay.
But
so are you immortal then? Am I to interpret?
No, you're not immortal. You're sitting there listening for it. You're not the guy that's sitting in his car going, "Oh, tornado's coming."
Yeah.
So I would say we that have listened to at least 3 or 4 sirens are adept at listening to what we're supposed to be hearing. It was not a pure tone. It was it had a lot of
noise that would alarm somebody.
Well, yeah, it had enough noise that would alarm somebody, but it sounded like there was something that that needed to be looked at. And
okay.
He was going to go out there, and I don't know. It's a good question. I need to follow back up on that one. I know that I got a 15-minute phone call from him today, or probably an hour phone call from him today. That 15 minutes of it was talking about how we can report this to even better get some better percentage and summary stuff on that. So I know he's looking at it hard, which is really cool to watch.
And on reports, nice segue. Thank you very much.
Hey,
I had driven out to number 21.
Okay.
A month ago and reported in.
Okay.
But my lady friend, lives there by number 7 or close to it. You can hear it. So that's one I normally report on.
Okay.
And this was right after the hailstorm. I had driven by number 7 and reported that it looked like it had hail damage on the solar panel.
Okay.
And but it still tested good according to my lady friend. And then I did my report on number 21. Well, number 7 was logged, but number 21 was not.
Well, let me go change that. What date? I saw that report on there that showed the broken window or broken glass.
Yeah.
Let me go add that one on there. 21 was test good?
Yes.
Cool.
I think 5.8.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's right. I was looking at those, and I was looking at those broken glass ones, and I remember seeing the one that you had done. But I'll add 21 on there for that same date. Thanks. I think, what are we doing? I gotta go look. What are we doing on? How are we doing on getting old ones? Do I need to get 65 still? I think.
Yes, sir. Actually, I was doing a little bit of research, and from when I was working on different organizations and trying to get things accomplished, when I would reach out individually to people.
Yeah.
And like, there's some like 31 and 32. There's somebody doing 33. You know, they could take a week off from, you know, they got regular ones. And so if they could take 1 week off and take another week off or get in between, then like I drove all the way out to 21. There's a guy that does, I think it's 22 and could do 23. Just right there. But I don't have, I see their call sign, but I don't have any contact information other than their call sign. You know,
QRZ is usually good, or on the club.
That get this done pretty quick.
We need everybody on Discord.
There you go. Yeah, like that'll happen. But yeah, I need to get 65. I haven't been around recently, and I'll go chase 65 down. And then I see 37, 38, and 39 are coming up. These are half mile south of, or a couple miles south of me, and I can get all three in one shot. They're like less than a mile for all three.
I'll talk to you about those. I would, like I see in my research, I saw that you'd been checking over there. I don't know where you live, but I assume since you had done some of the others over there.
I'm at 84th and 9, and this is 84th and Post Oak. Post Oak's 3 or 4 miles south of me, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, look, we're all right there.
Yeah, and this 38, 37, 38, 39. I actually reported one day, I reported 5 different sirens.
Are you south of 9 or north of 9, Mark?
I'm south. I'm just 600 feet south of 9.
Okay.
Okay.
You're not too far from where my daughter Sarita used to live, are you?
She was just a mile east of me.
Yeah, they don't live there anymore. They sold that.
Yep. How's she doing over in her husband's doing a bunch. What's that?
He's got the Yellow Dog coffee.
That's what it was. I saw something in the paper. It was doing well. So good for him.
They got a couple more businesses too. Well, she's got the doggy daycare center there in Norman.
Annie's Rough House. That's the first time I met her, was over there at Annie's Rough House. I was pretty impressed.
My idea was if we could reach out to some of these people that are doing it regularly.
Yeah.
Go a mile out of their way, just one Saturday here and there. We could have this knocked out in a couple of weeks.
Send an email to siren@w5nor.org. And that's the net controls that gets all 3 of them. And they can, in their next email message, they can try to chase it. I know 61, they want it on the list next week because they had somebody call in.
Yeah, I could probably every couple of weeks hop over to 30 because it's just two roads down, I think.
36,
27. The list shows that no one's doing 30 right now.
Right. It's been pretty old. 30, but that's 30 Franklin and 36.
Franklin, yeah, 30, Franklin 36.
Yeah.
I think I did that one a while back.
Yeah, and I could probably, because I'm at 27, so I can, it looks like 20, 26, and 28 are good.
Yeah.
So
basically, I just had a personal goal of Mr. Grizzle being able to report that everything had eyes on it and ears on it in the past year.
Yeah.
Because there was,
right.
Still see there's one down there to 65, I think, that Mark was talking about. It hadn't been hit in 3 years.
And there is a hyphen in anal retentive, by the way, Lyndall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could also, 31 hasn't been hit since December. I could go hit that one.
Yeah.
What was that?
If you click the last test up there on the top, it'll sort it in order of how long it's been.
What was that, Lyndall? Sorry.
I was asking Mark for that email address. He spouted off real quick. And
Siren at w5nor.org.
There's all 32 on. Yeah, and I don't mind going out of my way on a Saturday. It's not a big deal. It's just I gotta.
Are you in this big town on Saturdays, or you mean after you move in?
I mean, I'm usually up on Saturday anyways. I will not be around this weekend, but I'll be out of town. But pretty much every weekend, I'm either in town or living in town. So
yep,
it's not a big deal. I don't mind driving an extra mile or two over to a siren that hasn't been hit in a while.
I've been driving. I'm just only down there on the weekends, and I was a little frustrated when I drove because I'm like I say, I'm down there to see this beautiful woman, and I took an hour to drive out to 21 to report it. Didn't get reported. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I wouldn't even mind driving over. Like 65 hasn't been. Oops, sorry.
Cedar Lane and 36 is 21. Is that what you're talking about? Lindell?
Yeah.
And like even like 65, I think it is. Is that the one that hasn't been hit
That's
since
way
18?
out. That's out past. That's by me. I'll go catch that one.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't even mind driving out there on a Saturday. I got nothing better to do usually, but that's fine.
It's actually kind of fun. I'm getting to see parts of Norman that
Right.
I've been to or haven't been to in a while.
Right.
It's either that or I'm going to figure which one's around the golf course.
Yeah.
On the Norman list, that looks like the only one that hasn't been hit in the last 6 months.
229 is like it's 21. So that's
on which one?
15 months. 37, 38, 39. I can catch shows in 1 week because that's
Yes. 65 is telling me 519. I may be on the wrong page though. Okay.
That's right.
519 of 18.
That's the oldest one. That's what I need to get next. I got 61, and that was.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I think it's a smart idea to. I also now I'm moving up there closer to more now too, so I could go hit more if I need to.
There's some in more that have never been hit. They said, but there's some weekends I have a train club I participate in on. It's up there by Crossroads, so I thought about hitting some of those on the weekends. I'm going up that way. So.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a strange location where I live. I'm kind of in a no man's land. I've got a Norman one and 2 Oklahoma City ones, and I can hear all 3 of them.
You just need to report on the Norman. We'll be fine.
No. I like I said, I got the most northern more one on Northeast 27th.
Okay.
And then you got one off of Sunny Lane behind me, and one off of Southeast 89th, which is just north west of me. So I mean, I've got 3 right there I can hear from my house.
Are 10 and 11, have they just never been reported on?
In more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm saying there's some that have never ever had ears or eyes on. It sounds like.
That leaves 14. That leaves 14 from in Norman that were before the January of this year, and I can get 4 of those real quick. So
yeah, if you want to, I mean, we can make a list and we can just divide and conquer for the next few weeks if you want. Which of course I'll be out of town this weekend, but
yeah, 37, 38, 39, and 65 are easy for me.
Yeah.
So 23 would be good. That would be the oldest next.
So how do we do that on the net? Do we just, when it comes to our call sign, do we just say we're reporting on a different on a different siren that week? Okay.
There are people that are assigned.
Yep.
One that's near their house.
And they're listed. They're listed there also.
Yeah. I'm normally on 27 in Norman, but do we just, when it comes to our number 27, just say, hey, I'm reporting on X siren this week instead?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds good. I can do that.
10, I went out and visited 10. Like I said, I've been hitting all the oddball ones out there.
Right.
And I hit on 10 one day when Wayne was doing it. He went ahead and assigned me number 10. I don't live anywhere near 10.
Yeah.
But, so now as he goes through the roll call, I'm at number 10, even though I've only actually, they had me go back out and look at it again.
Yeah.
That's place in line. I don't correct it because I'm usually out far away and I'm trying to have to report on 7. 7 would be the one I would normally be assigned to, but that one happens pretty quick. It's time. They don't have time to coordinate everything to get a good report.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can always come in later too. If like I have a problem if I'm out at 61 or 65 and I'm usually out there in a different vehicle and I have a talkie. So I might not be in town by the time it's my turn. I usually just race into town to get in range and
that is what.
Then at the end, there's anybody else, and it's usually, hey.
Yeah.
Right.
One day where people were relaying it for me, they could hear me, but Wayne couldn't hear me. So somebody else in the middle was relaying my information as I was trying to race in and get a signal.
Yep.
Do we run the siren net on field day?
Yes.
Okay.
Because there are people that aren't at field day and we still get people. So
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. I was just thinking there's usually more people around than normal. The on-field day, we could say, hey, go to this one today, if you don't mind. But
Oh yeah. But yeah, if you got wacky ideas like that, just send them that siren at list
okay,
or
cool.
name, and then that'll encourage them to go do that. And
Okay, I did siren at list, and I have siren at W5NOR.
well, that's the list of guys. So siren at w5nor.org is the one that goes to all the net controls. So it doesn't matter who's on. You don't have to figure out who's on this week. It'll send to all three of them.
So I can send them a deal and say, okay, I've done some research. Can you contact a whatever 5 to see if they can get this one and so get that one? Take a break from their usual one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I'd say as long
that
as
out in there, but they usually put out a notice about 10 o'clock Saturday morning. So as long as you do it, before then, Friday night or something.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be a bad idea, just to make sure we've got them all covered within the last 6 months or so.
And
Would be nice.
yes, there is a hyphen in anal retentive, and I'm glad of that. Yeah, more would be a good thing. I don't remember what more's. There's a couple that haven't been done up there.
Yeah, 10 and 11 have never been reported on, looks like. So, I mean, probably be a good idea to at least go check those out and make sure they're still there.
Yeah. Yep.
And more you have to see rotate too. It's more work.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. 10 and 11. That's what Grizzle's part of Grizzle's stuff. What's this NAN means? Oh, it's not a number. That's we need to go test those.
Right.
But yeah, there's 17. That 2 of them, 10 and 11 are the only ones that are there. And then we've got 6 and 37 that haven't been done since 19.
Right.
So those 4 would get us up to less than a year.
Right. Probably just something that needs to be, I don't know, thought about more frequently so we can make sure we get a look at them once a year.
Yep. Just need people to motivate.
Mm-hmm. And like I say, as long as I know ahead of time, I don't mind driving up there. I just have to remember to, oh yeah, I'm not going to my normal siren this weekend.
Yeah. Just put a message to siren at, so that know that they can make sure 2 people don't go running up there. I did that once out here where I got out there and Nathan was already there. It's like, oh man.
I've done that where I'll put it out and I guess people didn't check the email.
Yeah.
Of course they weren't. I was right there under the siren, doing the visual and what have you. But they were listening to it from a mile away or something. I don't know. But it got reported on twice, and so it tested twice as good that week.
There you go.
How are you? I've been going back. Mr. Laws had put it up a deal using that format you had up earlier where it shows in order of the reverse chronological order. In other words, what needs to be hit. How are you pulling that up from the Facebook, from this website?
There's a spreadsheet on the website. You can just go in and then you can hit sort.
Well, it's this. Let's see. I'll send you the link, the direct link, but it's on one of those. Here's the Norman one. You click on it says last name. There's a link to that same page. And if you click on this last, and that link will take you to the last page sort or the last test sort.
Where is it? Oh, last week,
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last test, it'll sort it. Like if I want to test on the number of them, if I click on tests, it'll sort it on the tests. And we have one station that, and I know why, this 136 has been tested 136 times. And the reason is it's right outside of Peter's back window. So he reports on it every week. But some have been, like 16's been done 123 times. Who cares? Let's go to something else.
Yeah. When I first got into this, I was surprised the number of failures. I thought it would be close to 100% because you always hear.
I was too. When Peter said he was going to do this, it was like, oh great, we're gonna go out there and sit there and we're gonna get pass, 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 pass. And everybody will run out of steam after 3 weeks of no fails. And
Yeah.
man, when we started this, there was like a bunch of them.
There's still probably what, 2 or 3 a week, I would say, on average, fails.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the cool thing is he can use that.
Or
He targets those repair money on those ones that he finds that are bad or that are bad.
Yeah.
Right. No, I mean, it's a good idea.
Well, it's enjoyable I enjoy the hobby, but this is a side of it where I feel like there's actually a purpose. I'm not just a fan, expensive toys.
Feel like you're using your time for something more valuable. Yeah.
It's like I'm on my own. I'm a Rotarian and I work with CASA, so I like to give back a little bit.
Yeah, and this is kind of cool. What you'll see, one of the things that I built last year and hasn't happened yet, but I've got a URL that's w5nor.org/report. And this is the goal here is that this is for the general public, non-hams that can report. So this is right now telling you that it's 9 o'clock on Tuesday. And it says, sorry, siren reports are only taken between noon and 1 on Saturday. And the idea is members can use this when they come back during the time frame. It will ask them for their code, and it's a 5-digit alphabetic code. That code is assigned to that person, and it assigns them a given siren number. So, if you know somebody that's not
right next to one.
Yeah, it's right next to one, or they want to play along, they like the same thing, but they don't want to get their license. We can give them this code and they can report on that, and it comes in the same reporting mechanism.
That's cool.
All thing. And I put that up there and hope that the guys, like Galen or David would have some of their volunteers that may get into it. And David called this, like I said, today. And he said, is that ready to go? He said, I want to do a newspaper article for the next couple of days, put that out, run that out for the public that they could call him and get a code, and then publicize field day with that as well. So that's kind of cool.
That'll be to-do list.
That's kind of a cool thing. Let's see if I can pull. You can pull up something that shows, okay, there's all the sirens that Carl's, or that one's gone through, whatever that siren number was, siren number 1. But you can also, there's SSW. I can also list all of the, like, who's had the most calls, and you'll see some call signs in there with something called like Z. They'll start with a Z, and those are my Norman test ones. Let's see if we can get to see if that's where it's at. There it is. So this is a call sign summary, and you can see that in 2021, Ed Hagler's done 1, and Al Engel's done 68 sessions and 73 reports. Ed's done 14. And if we come down here to the bottom, ZWELK, and that's me. That's I keyed it into the website, and these are the reports that I entered through the website as a test.
Gotcha.
So the general public could do the same thing, and they'll come in with different Z codes. I think Norman's Z and Moore's X, if I remember right. And then my Z code, that ZWLEK, will let me report on Siren 41, and then I can put a comment in there just like the ham stuff does, and it aggregates all that mess. But you'll see that in the paper. That's not going to replace us. That's in addition to us.
Which page are you on now? I've not seen the whole
This is
page.
Call sign summary. Let me just put that in here.
Over there.
There's call sign summary. And if you click on yourself, there's David Holden, the KG5N wax. If we click on David, it will show all of the sirens he has reported on. Those are all his reports.
So, Mark,
You had them in a different order than what you keep finding stuff I haven't seen.
Oh, there's a bunch of stuff there. Yes, sir.
I clicked on the link that you have in the chat thing, but how do you get to that from the SCAR's homepage?
Siren. It comes off the siren page. If you go to w5nor.org/siren, or it's in.
Right now, I'm looking on the homepage. Can I get to that from there? Is there a link to click on?
Yeah, there is. Let's see. It should be in WX emergency.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Siren test net. And then here's, if you look in that, it shows you siren net summary, siren list, outdoor warning line for Norman, Moore, Noble, Newcastle, Oklahoma City.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And then there's, off of each one of those, there's a bunch of different other pieces. I probably ought to add more summaries on this here. But if I click on Norman, a summary of the test results is available by clicking on this link. That's the test results. And then there's one that's a list of sirens that just lists all the details we know about it. What I'm trying to get permission is, there's a bunch of as-built drawings, and I'm going to put all that together and put it on the web for Norman's.
Hey, Mark, next time I see you, I want to get one of those coffee mugs if you have any. The SCARS.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Remind me. I'll remind you. I'll try and remind you before we go to dinner Friday.
Oh, good idea. I'll because I'm going to put them together, and I want to bring all that stuff Saturday because everybody's gone a year without spending money, and by golly, we need to get them to spend money.
Right.
I've been spending money.
I need to be.
Yeah, you're saving it up for the 9700, Mark.
I am. I bought that NOAA rig just recently. A 1.6 gig system.
So what is the basic use of that?
Basic use of that one is it downloads the National Weather Service data straight from the satellite.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of cool, which is one thing. And the second thing is, if we put that at the firehouse, some of those files that are used in that download are what the siren system uses for polygons.
Yeah.
So when the Weather Service puts out a tornado warning, it makes a polygon. And I'm just wave my hands whenever I say this, but it's some kind of GIS thing that says this square is under the tornado warning. The siren data can read that polygon, and if there is one of our sirens in that region, the way Norman's is programmed, it will fire the whole zone. And the zone is the quadrant. So northwest, northeast, southeast, southwest. So if there's one siren in that zone, it will fire that whole zone automatically. So at 2 a.m, it'll bang. If a tornado watch comes through, tornado warning comes through, nobody wakes up, it will fire the sirens that are covered. What the fire chief wants is that currently comes in off the internet. And what the fire chief wanted was a secondary path that did not rely on the internet. And this will get them a secondary path that does not rely on the internet.
Yeah, you can't rely on the internet.
Yes. And I think he's very smart. I mean, I don't think he's an idiot. And I think this is something that I'm glad to help. However, when the fire chief asked for this, it was a year and a half ago. And the the cost at the time that I had for a system that would do this was $6,500.
Wow.
The one I bought last week was $176.
Wow. That's the opposite of lumber.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, big difference.
Yes. Exactly.
All right, gentlemen, I'm gonna hop off. I will talk to you guys later.
All right, good. We'll see you.
Appreciate
Have a good night.
See ya.
Yeah, just
Take care.
I'll be out this weekend, but let me know what sirens I need to hit next weekend, and I can do that. So
Okay.
Don't forget next Tuesday night, if you have the opportunity, it's live down there at the fire station.
I should be home. I'm coming back from a little out of town trip that day, so I don't know what time I'll be back. But if I can make it, I will make it.
It's same time down there at the fire station.
Cool. I will do my best to be there then.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna go too. I will see you guys next week.
Have a good one.
Well, there's Brad. He showed up.
Hop on here and just say thanks.
Hey, there he is.
Yep. I had 5 kids with me at the time. That's why I was sending in the text messages there, but I appreciate it. And
You got all your hair even. After having 5 kids, you still got your hair.
For now. Yep, for now.
Well, you need to come see us on Tuesday night next week.
Yeah.
What's your question? What's your question on the 5:30?
Well, I've been using it to listen. I just haven't ever, tried transmitting on it yet because 10 meters is the only thing I can do anything on. So I gotta get an antenna. Yeah, got to get an antenna for that, and then try it out and see if all of the finals are working and everything on the transmit side of it. It receives well. I hooked up just a random length of wire to it and heard stuff.
Just build you a simple dipole and feed it with some RGAX and put a couple of insulators on each end and in the middle, and you can get on the air.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Hey,
Sounds
Mark.
good.
And we do a 10-meter net every Wednesday night. So when you get there, there's 10 meters on 10 meters at 8 o'clock every Wednesday. We've got a group of people, so it's a great place to test a 10-meter radio, and it's in the technician band, so that you're
Brad, I don't know what
Mark?
living situation is, but I'm in an apartment, so I can only do temporary stuff. And I went down. I have, but I've since then bought another, but like a $15 telescoping fishing pole to do an inverted V dipole that Ken was talking about earlier. And you can set it up and take it down. It takes about 5 minutes to build it, and it takes about that long to set it up. And but you can pick up just that simple. And it's the antenna. If you didn't catch all what they're saying, their experience is, but it's basically just a SO239 connector with some simple wire going, one to each pole, and you get the approximate length, and then you tune it from there. So, like I said, it's real quick to build, even quicker to set up and tear down.
Okay, I gotta go, guys. See you
Hey,
later.
Ken, you and Mark need to tell Brad the same thing you kept telling me.
What's that?
Study for your general.
Yeah.
Yep. No.
Study for your general.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then you don't have to worry about that. You can put more bands, and
you can just cover it all there.
You don't have to worry about being out of your band, out of your frequency band.
Yep. They don't have to get more antennas.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. That's how it works.
That's a given.
Yep.
It's quick.
All right. I gotta.
I'll have a great week.
I appreciate it, guys. We'll try to see if I can make it next week.
All right.
Good to meet you, bro.
Yeah, you too, guys. Thanks. Bye.
Mark, where was that list where it showed who all had done what on the siren net? I clicked all
call
over.
sign summary. That's the call sign summary page.
I am on the outdoor warning list for siren list for Norman.
Oh, just click on that link in the chat if you want, but I might not have a good summary link on there. It'll show up underneath the siren test link I'll go make
Okay.
sure there's one there and add it if I need to, but
Okay, I got it from the
problem,
link.
that's probably an inside baseball one. Let's see.
Tell if somebody's actually been active lately or not.
Oh yeah. Yep. I'll put that up there. If you're going to play with it, I'll put it up there. I changed your link took your 21 report and it should be here. Where is it?
It wasn't showing up yet. I just checked the.
Let's see. Well, it's not. How come not? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong?
You guys have a good night, and I will see you Saturday morning.
Have a great week.
Yeah, Mark.
Right.
See you, Mark. See you Saturday morning.
Right. Thanks, man. Norman 21. Why did it show up? Oh, 2021, Mark. I did it as 2020. There's your problem.
Minor difference.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole purpose, Mark, is we get 2021.
Oh my God, I know it. I'm not playing with the full deck. Okay, there you are. Look at that. KI5JTT. Good. And then here's your Center Fashion Mall hail impacts to solar panel.
Yeah, that was on there. I saw that.
Yep. So that's all on the same day. And I pulled that April 26 boo-boo out that got in there. Somebody was doing a test. So we got that out of there. Get what's his name off my tail. Let's see. Oh, look, Bob showed up. Hi, Bob. Hi, Larry.
Hi. Hey, Mark. I was going to ask you if you've got any more information on the files that from the satellite stream.
I do. I put it all together this, I don't know, Sunday or Monday or something like that. And I'm hearing a tone at the right frequency, 1.694.1 gigahertz.
Oh, that's great.
Yep. So I'm hearing a blip. I put it on the wrong side of my shop and I have to shoot through the shop. So that's not working really well. Metal shop. So that's not working too well, but I got to put it on the other side of the building because my building isn't north-south and I wasn't thinking when I got my 75 degrees. And when I pulled out a compass, woof, I was way off, but I am hearing a general blip in that section. So I know my systems are good. I have tried to talk to the guy that does the Windows software, and I wanted a demo copy, and he just sent me a flow chart of how it worked. I was like, I know how it works. So he made me mad with that. So I think I'm going to do it on a Windows version or a Linux version, which has a free software setup.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah. So I said, phooey on that guy. I was thinking about the weather, so do it the weather service, and they would probably have a weather or a Norman EOC, and they would probably have a Windows machine. But phooey, I got lots of Linux boxes. So I'm going to hook it up on a Linux box and try that next. But yeah, I got it up and running. Got the equipment built, and put up a 10-foot chunk of tower, and it's hanging off that tower, and everything looks like it's going to work out fine. Now we've got to figure out how to decode that and put it on the hard drive. And I think other people have done it, so it can't be that hard. But that's that $170 system. Nice little SDR. I used HDR or HD SDR. to see the blip.
That's great.
It shows up on a little waterfall.
Yeah, I heard you talking earlier, and I think those are called shape files, those GIS files
Oh,
for putting the
What
polygons.
format it is? Do you know what format it is?
I think the format's called GIS shape files.
Oh, okay.
SH.
So they are Esri shape files. Okay. Yeah, I know what
I
they
think
are.
so. I mean, I've seen that on some of the web pages that you can download. You can download those, but I don't know specifically in this data stream, but I would guess that's what they are because they're so commonly used.
Yeah, and that's why, like I said, I was making up stuff because I know it's some kind of geographic stuff, but I don't know what the Weather Service. Knowing the Weather Service, it was not something normally used in nature. But I guess you're saying,
right? Yeah, I think because they just kind of make it available to the public in that way because there's so many different applications now that use GIS.
That'll help me figure out. I mean, I know what a shapefile is. .shp usually is the shapefile.
Yeah, I think so. I haven't actually worked with them, but they're pretty common.
Yeah, I use them in GIS stuff all the time. But I didn't. I've always heard them. I've always heard the Weather Service talk the word polygon, and I never.
Yeah, that polygons. Yeah, but I think the polygon's just the name for that particular shape where you got a bunch of lines.
Yeah.
But I think the format is probably shape files. I could be wrong. Could be something else, but
yeah.
But you're right. Yeah, they call them polygons.
That's just so no one can argue with them. If they were to say, well, a rectangle, and somebody comes along and say, well, that's not a rectangle.
That's right.
Quarter corners. So if you call it a polygon, no one can argue with you.
Well, yeah, and I remember people used to call them trapezoids, and nobody knew what that was.
No one knows what a trapezoid is.
Yeah, and then of course the watches were called watch boxes.
Oh yeah,
they were
a line along a mile.
Right.
What was it? 50 a line between Norman and Tulsa. Was it with
50 miles each?
Along, it had some wording, along and 50 miles on either side of, or something. There was a
right.
Yeah, we're along and 50 miles either side of a line between Godibo and Altus.
Yeah.
Well, where the heck is Godibo?
Maybe like 10 miles southwest of Godibo.
Yeah, 10 miles southwest of Godibo to 14 miles northeast of Slugabog. And I know the Weather Service people were just zoomed in, and that was the closest thing there, and they hit it and off they went. But come on, man, nobody knows where these towns were. That's why they killed it. Because it was, somebody finally said, "Come on, man."
I think the TV weatherman picked the tiniest little town and they put it on the map just so they can look impressive. But they want people to think they know every town in Oklahoma.
But
so
that's
they pick out some
little names.
If they didn't know it when they started, they'd learn.
Yeah.
I was just pulling up some watches now and see what because there's a text with it, but they're somewhat irregularly spaced. They like exclude counties and include counties. There's one in eastern Montana. Let's see what it says.
I'll see if there's a shapefile with it. Yeah, I haven't. I kept thinking that would be a good thing to do, and I just haven't done it yet. But I think I got all the hardware nailed. It's just a matter of pulling the software down.
It's public. I'm trying to see. Usually it's in the discussion they have. What do you say here? So what they say now, I noticed, because when you look at the actual outline of the watch, it's irregular because it follows county boundaries. So, but in their text, it says the severe thunderstorm watch area is approximately along 65 statute miles east and west of a line from 60 miles north of Wolf Point, Montana to 30 miles south of Brodus, Montana.
See, and I don't think the Norman guys would do that.
They do. That's just a national. This is the Storm Prediction Center, so it's a
Oh,
watch.
that's SPC doing that? Okay.
Yeah, it's national. It's just the format they use.
Yeah.
It's just a
That's what they were
description.
getting away from that.
Yeah, it's just a broad description in the text summary, but they have a map that shows, much more. That's
Yeah,
for a complete depiction of the watch. See the associated watch outline update, and it gives a bulletin header for that.
And I think I think that they said that they're working on, I can't remember I think this came from Rick on one of the What's Coming things, is that they're working on fixing that 65 miles up along a line between, so that they grab geographic centers. So if that line goes halfway through Oklahoma City,
right,
they include or exclude
counties.
Something that makes sense, instead of, well, crap, that line's right in the middle of Oklahoma City. What does that mean to me?
Yeah.
Or if it's on the edge of, Texarkana, that they get all the stuff on east or eastern or Texas, Louisiana, or Arkansas side. So if it crosses boundaries, they're working to try to make that better, so that the people in East or Kansas City, Missouri, don't get excluded on Kansas City, Kansas's problems. And
right,
I know that they were working on that as a process. I don't know if that's going to happen or if it is a wish list thing, but
yeah, I'm not sure either.
that
But
has
I think they tend just not to cut counties right now. The whole counties, either in or out of the watch.
Yeah, I think they just do a drop down. They click that county, this one.
Yeah. And they do discuss it when they issue these, before issuing the watches, they'll usually discuss it on the phone with the local forecast offices.
Yeah.
To ask them, what do you think? Should we, just include this county or not include this county? And
yep.
At least they used to do that up to a few years ago. I assume they still do.
I think they do. And I think what they're saying is they're now including, like, if it spans 2 zones, they make sure they get both zones. Or if it's a metropolitan area, they consider the whole metropolitan area instead of just a little part of the county. Like Cleveland County gets a ton of those, but they're way the heck down south.
Yeah.
And that's where these polygons on the sirens would be a good thing.
Yeah, they would be.
And that they actually do that. It's actually live, where it will actually fly. But if the internet goes down, they don't get those polygons. So that's what the fire chief was wanting to do. Wanting to get some other stuff.
So the Storm Prediction Center, I'm looking at the webpage, they've got a whole page where they have these KMZ files, which are
KMZs, that's that includes the shape file.
Google Earth, I know, and
yep.
So they've got one for that. It has plot active MDs on Google Maps. Let's see what else they have here.
SHP is the Esri one.
Yeah, I mean they don't have. Well, they have something called. They have another file type which is layered GSON files. Yeah, it's .GOJSON, JSON. I've heard of them.
Those are geodetically encoded JSON.
Okay.
So that makes sense. That would be a shape file, and of course that would be the Weather Service choice, which is
yeah.
agnostic. The KMZs would be a good choice for those.
Yeah, it would be. They have a weather service GIS portal. Look at that one and see what comes up here. Yeah, those are shape files. Those are.
Are they the warnings? That's warnings are what they're looking for. I just, like I said, I've never slowed down to look at them.
Yeah, I could. Let me put this web page in the link for you.
Okay.
It's a very long thing here. Just so you can kind of get going on it. Let's see.
You call that a long link? Ha.
It doesn't have a lot of numbers in it. I know, like some.
Yeah. Some of those are really chasing. So, oh, that's in the. Oh, I see. Oh, it's ArcGIS. So that's ArcGIS stuff.
ArcGIS, yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's also. I'll just put this page.
And there's the shape files and the zips. Day one, day one Outlook is shape, zip. Day one, day two Outlook shape. So that they might be using. I don't know what they're using on that though. I'll have to go see what the Siren software looks for.
Yeah, it's got to be one of these.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, no, I know it is because they're currently getting it via the internet somehow.
Okay.
And I don't know what this. I just haven't stopped to look. Yeah, there's the GeoJSONs and KMZs. So it's either this GeoJSON or KMZs or shape files.
KMZs, yeah. I know our lab puts out KMZs. They have this system called MRMS, and within there they have rotation tracks from radar for the whole country.
Yeah.
And they're made available in that format as well. In fact, I think that's how they plot it. KMZ. I don't know if you've seen those rotation track files.
Yeah.
They're
They're pretty interesting.
kind of.
Those are from the radar, right?
Correct. Yeah, they have a low level shear. They get a low level and kind of a mid level shear, lowest elevation angle, and then others for the slightly higher elevation angles. But they have this new scanning mode for next-red radars called Sails. Have you heard of that?
Yeah. Sails 2, aren't they using now?
Yeah, Sails 2. So they scan the low levels quite frequently to get fast updates of the level shear. But I heard a discussion the other day and said, yeah, the problems if there's significant things in the upper level part of the storm, you may not get an update for like 7 minutes, more than the usual 5 minutes, because they're spending more time in the low levels. But someday that will all be changed when they get phased array radar.
Any idea when that's going to happen?
Well, our lab just got the new system to test, I guess. But talking to people like Dusan Zornik a few years ago, they thought it's still like more than 10 years down the road.
Yeah.
before
Doug was working on,
Yeah, Doug was working on that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still some problems, I think, with side lobes and the beam,
yeah,
things like that. The dual pole and stuff, they're pretty complicated, and they haven't sorted all out. And of course, have you ever been in that radar, the ARC, I think it's called, the radar building just east of the weather center?
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you seen some of their radar antennas they have?
Yeah.
And they're pretty neat.
Yep.
This cylindrical thing, they have a bunch of computers in there. Rotates.
Yep. 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 That's pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, I'm afraid I won't be around when by the time they get the phased array operational. But
Well,
you never know.
that's a good point. That's a really good point. We don't care.
We don't care. It's going to help in the future. So
We don't care. Let's see who's on the call here. Eric, is Eric still on? He might care. Yeah, he's still
you're right.
He's young enough.
He's young enough.
Yeah.
Oh, I care. I'm listening.
No, yeah, you'll be young enough. You'll be the only one young enough by the time that phased radar rate. You'll tell a story that says, I remember these old guys were talking about phased radars. Like it was never going to happen. And 15 years later it happened. Well, shoot, I remember talking about NexRad. You remember those days, don't you?
Yeah, I remember when in my hometown in San Angelo when they installed the NexRad down there at the airport.
No, this was when it was being developed.
Oh yeah, see, I remember the installation.
We were part of the development bunch up here. So
yeah, of course you were.
WSR 88 was the name, and I don't know when it finally got implemented.
Yeah, our club station down there, W5QX, we were like right there next to the weather station. In San Angelo, Texas.
Oh, wow. That's the only thing in San Angelo, isn't it?
No, there's Goodfellow Air Force Base.
Well, that's right.
There's Angelo State University. Yeah, there's some things.
There's some things.
Surrounded by like 3 lakes.
There you go.
It's not a bad place to live in West Central Texas, or to grow up, I should say.
Cool.
Yeah, but
do you remember? I was going to ask if you remember roughly what year they installed it. Was it in the 90s, early 90s?
Yeah, it was the early 90s. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think there were 2 phases first phase started in the late 80s, but most of them were in the early 90s.
Yep, that would be correct.
The first installation of the daily forecasting was in Sterling, Virginia in June 12th, 1992.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't the late 80s.
Well, we had one. It was 88 it was called 88 because it was developed in 88 here.
Right.
I want to say this was like 94-ish.
And it says the last one was put in 97.
Yeah, I want to say this is like 93, 94. And that was Eddie is the airport.
I remember meetings at the Severe Storms Lab when they were telling how that was going to work. And it was like, sure. Sure. You remember those days, Bob?
I do. Were you around during I think it was called Doplight? They've like the first experiment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know Don Burgess?
Oh yeah, very well. He was my parents' neighbor at their house.
Really?
Yeah. So I knew him from there, and then I remember seeing him over at Severe Storms Lab. He was like, "What are you doing here?" He says, "I work here." He said, "What are you doing here?" I'm a ham. I come to these all the time.
He has to be, for all the people I met since I've been here, I would have to say was the most experienced forecaster, although he didn't do it operationally, but he just had a great sense of the weather here since he was a kid. He actually grew up in Stillwater. I think his dad taught up there. And when he was real small and there was a tornado nearby and he got really interested. But yeah, he would, he just would give his 2 cents, every day, and we were forecasting stuff. It's like he knew better that wasn't going to happen, or whatever people were saying.
And he was always a great guy to talk to.
Oh yeah,
just I mean, a wonderful dude. I had a gal at my office, a daughter of a gal at my office, who wanted to get into weather, and she was in high school, or going in high school, was wanting to do weather stuff, and said, "Do you know anybody that I could talk to?" And I said, "Well, let me ask Don." And I called Don up and I said, "Hey, I got a gal here that wants to get into weather. Can you can you talk to her a little bit, talk her out of it? And he said, well, I don't know. I could probably do 20 or 30 minutes. I could fit 20, 30, have her come in after lunch on such and such a day. And I said, okay, go over there, talk to him. And he's a really nice guy. And she never came back. And it was like, I told her mother, I said, well, she said 20 minutes. Well, it's like 6:30 or 7 that night. She shows back. I told Don, I said, what were you doing? He said, she was very interested, and we just kept talking about stuff, and she ended up going into meteorology. So he did a good job. But
wow, I'll be darned.
Crazy. I know he's retired, isn't he? I think he's
retired. Yeah, he retired quite a long time ago, but he was working through SIMS, through the Cooperative Institute, pretty much up till the pandemic. And he could still be working for him. I don't know.
Oh, really?
I know he told me that his wife, because he ended up working, seemed like more hours than he wanted to.
That would be Don, yeah.
Yeah, maybe all day. I don't know. I wouldn't see him in the building all day, but I think his wife was complaining probably. Yeah. But one of the things he told me he did, and he'd never do it again, was it was related to forensic meteorology. So there was some lawsuit, I think it was in Texas. It was damage from a tornado in a housing development, and I can't remember what the lawsuit was about, whether it was about the construction. I don't think it had to do with the warning being bad, but he was hired as an expert witness, basically, for a case. And he said it was the biggest waste of time he ever did. It was like it took, so much time and preparation, and then nothing came out of it. I mean, it was like a frivolous lawsuit anyway. It sounded like. He said he'd never do it again.
I did the same thing on a programming.
Really?
I was an expert witness on a programming case here in Norman, and the same thing that we prepared and we did all the stuff, and I got to the courthouse, and the attorney guy I was working with was getting me installed as a expert witness with the judge beforehand, and I was kind of out in the hallway, and the judge and my lawyer guy was talking, and all of a sudden they said my name, and all of a sudden I heard John Fagan's voice come out of the inside of that room. He said, Mark Klein? Yeah, I know him. Yeah, he's an expert. Go ahead, let me in. and I never saw him, but I heard his voice in there, and it was like, oh, I'm going up against John Fagan in a courtroom. That's gonna be a big fight. And luckily, I think Fagan went back and said, look, we need to do something different. And they found a different tactic. Instead of talking about the programming, this guy allegedly stole some code from his ex-employer, and he didn't. It was totally different, and it was similar output, but it was different code. And they found some clause in his hiring contract that had been violated, and they made a deal and said, okay, based on this clause, we'll drop the suit. And they dropped the suit on it. And I later told John, what were you trying to do with that? He said, oh, we don't get many of these cases. I wanted to try that. That looked like fun. And I went, that was the biggest pain in the ass in my entire career. I spent hours researching and I did nothing. He said, oh, no. You did something. You made us change our tactics. So we're good. We're good. But it was hilarious because the code didn't even, I just said, draw a flow chart of the stuff that you are alleged to steal and the stuff that you wrote. And I said, if the flow chart matches, you stole it. And the guy looked at me and he went, oh, it's nothing near that. I said, I know, I've looked at your code. You changed your story. You wrote the first one and you go, that's crap. And you did a second one. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Yeah, I know. document it. But man, after that, it was like, first I thought, well, first of all, this is easy money. And God, it was crazy. So I'm with Don on that. I'm with Don on that one.
Is John Fagan still around?
Yeah, he came to a club meeting a while back, about a year or two.
He used to come to the club meetings.
Yeah, about a year or two ago, his last one I've seen. I need to poke him again and see what he's doing. He had, what was it? His wife just recently passed away, or was his daughter? Had breast cancer. One of them did.
Yeah.
And but yeah, he's still around. He was still around here in town. Haven't seen him through the.
I'd like to see him sometime.
Well, I'll send him a message and tell him that we need to see him and see what he'll do.
He was involved with a project. This is many, many years ago, with our lab to some extent.